what's up, and good evening. Great to have you with us tonight. And I hope you're ready for a good stream. One of the things you can do just as we're getting started, if you don't mind, hit that like button. That shoots us out into the YouTube algorithm, and it lets the world know that tonight this is a show worth watching, and this is a place worth them spending some time in. By the way, I created a poll based on this headline where Moab. The police officers there apparently were charging nearly $3,000 in fees for people who are wanting to see this body cam footage. And so if you guys don't mind responding in that poll question, let me know what you think about that. And by the way, let me know where you are watching from. We have Deline all the way from Southern California. We got Laura, hi from Hong Kong. What's up in Hong Kong? How's it going there? I've never been. I would like to go. Louisville, Kentucky, Bend, Oregon. Great to see you guys tuning in today. Toronto in the house. Claysville, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Florida, Ohio, Idaho, South Africa, Seattle, Ottawa, Canada, Minnesota, Blacksburg, South Carolina. Hey, from Massachusetts. What's up, Massachusetts? Argentina in the house. Hello, All-American Cartel. Boston, Massachusetts in the house. Florida, Pittsburgh, New York City, Tyler, Texas. You think they named that after me? Central Illinois, New Jersey, Albuquerque, New Mexico, another Louisville, Kentucky. You know what's cool? I met the guy who owns Louisville Sluggers, and he became a Christian, and he works with like ministries and stuff. And so I got to spend the whole day with him, and he made me a bat. He made me a baseball bat, and he put my name on it, and he signed it. It was really cool. And then we went to dinner. And so we had a great time. And when I went to Louisville, I had a great time in Louisville. I was hanging out with Bob Russell also. Maybe if you live there, you may know who he is. And Jeanette, thank you for that super sticker. You start us off in a good way today with a super sticker. Appreciate having your guys' support. Hawaii, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Pueblo, Indiana, Indianapolis. Wow, great. Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, there's a lot of great things happening in Nashville, Tennessee. It's a great place. I visit there pretty frequently. Australia, Flint, Michigan, United Kingdom, Rochester, New York. So literally everybody tuning in from all over the place. Spanish in Morocco. Thank you. Glad to have you. Ontario, Canada. And by the way, if you guys haven't done it yet, hit the like button on the video. I know it might sound repetitive in the beginning whenever I say that, but that's because I'm trying to get our stream off in a good way. I want to get us rolling and going. And so when you hit the like button, what it does is it shoots us out into the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't done so yet too, if you wouldn't mind, hit the subscribe button on the video or on this channel. Promise you we have great content that I think you're really going to love. And I wanted to show you guys this article that came out, process it together, maybe talk about it together, because it's an interesting article. Oh, Kim with the super sticker. Great. Thank you for sending that. Little person waving. I'll be waving back at you. Thank you for sending that super sticker. I wanted to show you guys this article and process it together, just because initially, if we were to say this, like, hey, should they be making money off the body cam footage? Well, everybody pretty much is saying, no, I don't think we should be doing that. And so I want to process it together in a way that we might see it from a different angle. All-American Cartel, thank you for that super sticker. Thank you so much. Jersey Dolphin says, God bless you, Tyler. You have a great community here. Thank you, Jersey Dolphins, for the super chat. And we do have a great community here. And so just unbelievable. All the people that are joining, all the people that are tuning in tonight on a Friday night. And I promise you, we're going to have a great stream together. DG, thank you so much, just because I'm already feeling the love tonight. I feel the love from the very beginning of the night. Makes me feel good that you guys want to support the channel and support what's happening. And so it just means a lot. Beverly, thank you for that super sticker. It's a heart. Really like it. Thank you guys so much. Okay, well, good night so far. And we're only 3 minutes in. I want to talk about this article because when we look at it, the Moab charge, it says nearly $3,000, and then it says this in fees for Gabby Petito's footage. Now, if you're thinking if they charge $3,000 just so somebody could watch the video, it's like, whoa, that's obviously wrong. And when I looked at the poll, it was like 98% of you guys are saying like no, or 92% of you are saying like no, they definitely should not be doing that. When we read the article, it made more sense to me. Per video fees appeared to violate Utah public records law. So that was the issue there. Moab is returning nearly $3,000 in fees that the city collected from multiple media organizations to release body cam footage of officers pulling over Gabby Petito and her fiance Brian LAUNDRIE outside of Arches National Park. The footage shows officers talking to the couple after reported domestic problem August 12th, about a month before Petito was reported missing and later found dead. The thousands of dollars that Moab police charged in exchange for the footage, which made headlines upon its release, continues to appear in news coverage, amounted to about 3 times what the department had expected to collect. The move to refund the fees comes after the Salt Lake Tribune asked for an explanation of the cost. Agencies only charge for actual costs for providing a record. Even if one person was charged a fee, once that document is created, everyone else should not have to be charged. And so this is how they did it. By the way, Lily, thank you for that super sticker of that. Looks like a Japanese cat because they're wearing a white flag with a red dot on it doing this. Thank you for that super sticker, Lily. The department charged $98 for 30 entities, mostly news organizations that requested the footage. According to the document from the Tribune obtained through an open records request, that totaled to $2,940. A city budget document showed that in the fiscal year 2021, Moab police expected to receive $1,000 in record fees and budgeted the same amount for 2022. Moab police stop depicted in the footage followed a 911 call from a witness who reported seeing the couple arguing near the camper van. Officers spoke with the witnesses as well as Petito and LAUNDRIE, according to the report, and decided to separate the couple so they could relax their emotions. So that's sort of the breakdown of that. Let's see what Archer says. Did anyone else hear that the chief of Moab has been on medical leave of absence since the Gabby Bryan incident? So he did go on what's called FMLA leave, which is Family Medical Leave Act. And I don't know how he could, there's certain stipulations on it because I've built an HR manual before and I read up the rules on that. I would have to go back and review it. But I don't think you can go on FMLA just because of this incident. Like, I couldn't foresee it. It's like a death in the family, then legally, like if it's your spouse, you get this much time. If it's your dad, you get this much time. If it's your grandparent, you get this much time. Or there's certain health criteria in there. Some of it have, if you have a baby, here's the maternal, leave, maternity leave, and then paternity leave. And so it said he was on FMLA leave, and I don't know what the rules around that are. Also, the amount of employees that you have dictates that. So there's sort of some nuances in that. Utah may have a version of that for mental health, or maybe there's a mental health part of it too that I don't understand. But I think they need some time to process what was happening and going on. Now, whenever we're looking at the breakdown of these fees, by the way, Archer, that's a great question. Thank you for that super chat. When we're looking at the breakdown of those fees, initially I thought, my goodness, no way on earth should they be charging any money at all. That's a ridiculous assumption. That's a ridiculous thing. And because I think the headline is a little bit misleading. They charged nearly $3,000. Well, they charged $98 per record request. And there are administrative duties attached to that, which means somebody that they're paying is having to work on that. They're having to create the video there. And now we talked about it before. They had to go all the way through the video and blur out certain spots of it. They may have had to pay to make that happen. And so I just thought whenever I read it, it's like paying $98 for this type of thing. I didn't really think that it was that big of a deal, in my opinion. Now, 30 entities asked for it. So apparently they're legally allowed to charge whoever the first request is, that fee. But since it's then created, anybody that comes after that, they don't have to pay a fee. And so that's where they had the little bit of an issue. So when we sort of break it down in that way, I understand it a little bit differently, and it gives me a little bit more compassion for them. And I understand, like early on, whenever we were using that timeline that came from Jen, people were saying, hey, can you send me the timeline? I sent you timeline that Tyler created, timeline that Jen created, and that cost me money because I have a virtual assistant that I pay, and I literally had to pay her for her time that she was working, sending that out to you guys. There's an administrative time attached to that. And so whenever you looked at that, I just thought, well, I understand where they were coming from on that. And so I'm going to end the poll, and I'm going to ask the same question again and see if any of you guys revoted it differently. And I'm going to maybe ask the question a little bit differently. Do you think it's okay that they charged $98 per request? You think it is okay the Moab least charged $98 per request? And so if you guys don't mind just answering that one, let me know what you think about it. And you know what? I'm not going to be upset if you still don't think they should have charged anything. But as I sort of was going through it and working it through, I'm like, I understand at the end of the day why they ended up charging that $98. And then of course, whoever's making the headlines for the day, they're going to go in there, combine all of the money that was made from it, and then blow it up into this big ordeal. And that's essentially what happened. I also wanted to show you guys today. We watched a bit of it yesterday, but this footage that was coming from Ashley Banfield. I know I said her name accidentally wrong that one day. Listen, I have brain fog, but I've got probably 22 messages from people saying, she's a well-known journalist. How could you ever state her name the wrong way? Well, her name's Ashley Banfield, and she writes it in cursive. And so sometimes when you're on the stream like this, you're just sort of like glance at it, and it looked a little bit like it could have been Barnfield at first glance. So anyways, this is a bit of the conversation that she had with Brian Enton yesterday, and I just wanted to talk about it with you again tonight.
August 27th is an important day in the lives of Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, maybe the most important day. It's quite possibly the day that Gabby died.
It was on really low quality.
It's apparently the day she was last seen alive in public, and it was memorable. According to witnesses and restaurant staff, Gabby and Brian had lunch at the Mary Piglet's restaurant in Jackson, Wyoming. It happened in the afternoon, but it was certainly not a happy occasion. So Brian Enton, this is important. You visited the Mary Piglet's restaurant just in the last 2 days. And I want you to, if you can, characterize for me the conversation that you had with the manager of that restaurant.
So this was just last night, Ashley. This was right before they closed. I mean, we were on your show last night. We were driving like all the way from Moab to here and stopped in Salt Lake. So we were like trying to get here right before they closed. We got there right before they closed. The manager and the staff were all inside sort of together, like kind of talking right before closing. And I went inside and I spoke with the manager, immediately told her who I was. And she immediately said, like, what you've heard about what happened here is not what really happened. She didn't want to go on camera, but take a look.
She says everything that's been on the news about what happened here is made up. She says there was no loud voices, no one got angry, no one threw a fit here. But she says that Gabby and Brian did leave the restaurant without paying, and she says that the server followed them outside, that they paid the bill out here on the street. And that Brian was very calm, but then that they came back into the restaurant together, and that Gabby said that she wanted her money back, and the restaurant said that we're not going to give you your money back, and that then Gabby and Brian left.
Yeah, so I had Luis, my photographer, shoot that because I wanted to like get it out right away because I had just heard her explain all of this. But it was interesting because it was so different than the other witness account. And I told the manager that, and she's like, yeah, it's not true. That's not what happened. She goes, it was all a very somewhat calm situation in her words.
You know, it's so interesting. And this is where I'm so glad that, early in my professional career, I was a waitress. and a bartender and a bouncer, 6 years of it. So I know intimately the functioning of a restaurant. And I also know that oftentimes the manager's not there for everything. So I am and I also love covering trials where many witnesses bring their story to the stand and give a fulsome picture of what happened. And one witness's account isn't always the same, and sometimes they're contiguous. So I'm very curious as to whether that Instagrammer, Nina Seeley, saw something that the manager didn't see. Because if the manager only thinks that was a walkout on a check, there may very well have been something quite aggressive happening next to Nina's table, as she seems very certain of what she witnessed. So I'm not prepared to sort of discount the Instagrammer. I think that there could be many different versions of what it looked like to them, but certainly the same version that comes from everybody is that Gabby was upset. That's for sure. Okay, just quickly, I want to take you back for a minute to the Salt Lake City Hotel. I know I'm circling back, but I think it's an important moment because there is video of Gabby leaving that hotel, and it's important to know all the places where she was seen on video. But characterize for me why that's important.
It's important because that is where Brian left Gabby when he returned home to Florida to apparently clean out this storage unit. And so that was another one of the stops that we made, hoping to get some information because, you know, that's kind of one of the mysteries. What was Gabby doing during that time? What was happening? And again, it was just sort of immediate shutdown. The manager and the clerk knew why we were there, said that they couldn't talk. There was a restaurant attached that we sort of thought, well, perhaps Gabby ate there because she was at this hotel alone for so long. So we also went to the restaurant, and I think the manager called ahead and kind of warned them that we were coming. And so they also just immediately shut us down. So we didn't really gain any insight into, we know Gabby was there, but we don't know much more than that still.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button.
So what was your guys' take or thought on that whole situation? Again, I know we watched part of that yesterday, but I just thought it was interesting. Ashley Banfield was sort of like, I'm not going to discount what it was that Nina said about the situation. Just because the manager said it, it's possible. She said, I've worked in a restaurant, and it's possible that the manager wasn't there, didn't see what happened. Kim Brooks, oh, by the way, Blessed Beach Ball, thank you for that super sticker. Kim, I sent you a link if you want to hop on, but you don't have to. It's up to you because I know you and I had a short conversation about this earlier today, but he said, totally agree with Ashley. I think that is what a lot of us thought too. And Brian seems to be agreeing that everyone was intentionally quiet. I know it's sort of like, why is everybody so piped down about this situation? Did the FBI go and put the kibosh on what they were supposed to say? The manager was caught off guard, didn't expect Brian Ensign to pop in the house, start questioning about what was happening. A lot of people are saying that manager really isn't being super truthful about what's happening. So Nina did seem pretty certain about what she saw. I found that to be quite interesting in itself. And we are in the process of trying to reach out to her and possibly get her on here so we can ask her some questions. I said to the person that's reaching out to her, I'm like, please make sure she doesn't use foul language if she does come on here. But I would like to ask her some questions about this and maybe handle it in such a way that we could get a little more information from. I actually want to talk to her husband who saw it too, the one who has photographic memory. Hey, if you guys haven't done so yet, would you mind hitting the like button on the video? When you do that, that shoots us out into the YouTube algorithm. It's such a super helpful thing to do. It's a small task. It's a tiny task that makes a huge difference. I wanted to show this video to you too from Red, White, and Bethune. And this is just a preview. And obviously when we have greater access to it, we'll be able to play more of, oh, Kim's here. So I wanted to show, we'll pause this video for a second. Kim, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you for joining me.
Yep.
So what were your thoughts about Red, White, Bethune? I mean, what was your thoughts about Ashley Banfield, Mary Piglet? I know we watched that yesterday, but just sometimes overnight perspective is a really helpful thing. And I felt like that we had a little bit more clarity today.
Yeah, I totally agree with Ashley that there's probably the truth lies probably somewhere in the middle. And after you and I talked today, I actually watched another
We're
interview
YouTubers, and
with
so
Nina.
we
So I
film
find that
all the time, our everyday lives.
It's the
Marla, I think we're pausing for
They're
the
just driving through the Teton National Forest. And this van is on the side of the road.
It was crazy to us.
Your
because it
microphone
had
was cutting
Florida
out.
plates,
You
and
were saying
we're
you
from
watched another
Florida,
video with Nina in
and
it?
we
Yeah,
were like,
the
we can go hang
Bethune
out with
video is
them, go
playing
say
in the middle.
hi. But the van looked very dark. It didn't look like anybody was there.
She doesn't think much.
There we go. The Bethune video is playing in the middle. That might have been why I was cutting out. But yeah, I watched another video interview with Nina today with a smaller YouTube channel. And Nina was the good news is she was very polite, and she didn't use any foul language at all. But she was much more subdued, but still really convinced that she saw something going on. And she went into a lot more detail too. She started talking about how the waitress was their waitress and her waitress, and the waitress was shook up. And I totally believe Nina. I think that they're being either told to be quiet, or maybe that manager wasn't there. I think something was going on because Nina was very detailed in her story with this other interviewer.
And the thing about Nina's story was like, people's like, oh, she's trying to get her 10 minutes, but I don't think she really was.
No, I did a little bit more research on her after I watched that interview just to see kind of what I could find about Nina. And she's actually a wedding photographer. So she's not, and she has a clothing line that just launched, and she didn't pitch either of those things. This was on her personal Facebook page, personal Instagram. And she also told this interviewer, they said, well, why did you post it? And she said, I honestly posted it for my friends. And she said, I didn't really think that it would go as far as it did, but I did hope that the authorities maybe saw it so that they would know to go there and ask them questions, which it did prompt them to do that. So I think that's a really interesting take on it, that she was not doing it to get attention, or she would have done it from her wedding page, because she has an Instagram for her wedding page, or for her wedding photography business, and for her clothing line. And she did it from her personal Instagram, not either of those two.
That's sort of my perspective. It's like, and her page is like set to private too. So it's, I didn't really feel like she was trying to, milk it.
Yeah, I don't think so. In this one interview, I really hope that we can get her on, because I think it would make a difference to some who are still maybe on the fence about it, because she was very sincere in this video. She said, I don't know. I said the first time, I don't know what they were arguing about, but they were arguing about something. Gabby was visibly upset. They, said something to the waitress. The waitress was visibly upset. Then they went outside. So when you really listen to her in a calm way, it does match the manager's story. The manager just seems to be downplaying it. So
very interesting. Well, thank you for calling in. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, there's actually two things I wanted to tell you. And let's see. Okay. So one of the things I thought was interesting, I re-listened to your interview with Jennifer the other night. And one of the things I caught her say, and she has said this on other shows, is something you might want to talk about later, and we don't have to talk about it right now, but was the date of the cameras. And so then I happened to listen to another interview with Brian Enton again, where he says that he has found out that the camera on the back was after Brian went missing. And
Jennifer called me and asked me if I knew more information about those cameras, actually.
Yeah, Brian has now come out and said he corrected whatever, I guess, was originally being said about Brian Enton. And he said that the cameras on the back were after Brian went missing, but the cameras on the front, and now this may be a legal question too, because as Jennifer had mentioned, they couldn't necessarily put those cameras in the back until he was wanted for something, that would justify them so that's what Jennifer had brought up on your show. And when I heard that, I was like, So I went and started looking more into it. And then I saw Brian Enton did another, and it was with Ashley. It was on News Nation, and said that no, the cameras in the back were put up after he went missing. So that's why they didn't catch him if he went out the back. So, yeah.
Okay.
So that was interesting. Yeah. And then there's two other things. And again, I won't stay on here too long. Just you might want to bring them up later. There was also a fellow van lifer, and we had kind of touched on this back when Gavis was here, but who Ashley, Gabby, and Brian ran into on the 26th, who said that they were jovial, were getting along well. And that's who he gave his skateboard to. It wasn't a kid, it was another fellow van lifer. And he's kind of out there doing interviews now.
Isn't that weird? He gave his skateboard away?
Well, he said he had two. He told the guy, and this is the only thing the guy thought was strange. He told the guy, I have two of these and I won't be needing two anymore. So in hindsight, the guy thinks that was a little odd, but I mean, I don't know that Gabby skateboarded, and he said that in front of Gabby. So I don't necessarily know that was odd, but that's what the van lifer.
It depends on if he said, like, I have two, I don't really need two, or if he said, I won't be needing two anymore. Like, those are two complete different statements.
That's true. I think when I jump off here, I'll go and try and find that exact quote, and I'll message you with it, because you're right. That's totally different. And then two last really quick things is somebody got a lawyer on with Ashley asked about the question she had asked, that she had asked Bertolino about whether or not the conversations with the parents and Brian were privileged if they were on a conference call. And this other legal expert said, if their legal interest is, and I wrote this down to make sure I got it right, if their legal interest is totally intertwined, then privilege will still exist. However, if they ever diverge, then those conversations would not be privileged. However, and this is the second thing, so they kind of go together. If they truly didn't retain him until the 11th, anything any of them said to him the 1st through the 10th is not considered privileged. So he could be called on to testify about that. So anyway, that was really what went, what? to me, because I just hadn't thought about that, is if they truly, he's now backed himself into a hole where he says they did not retain him until the police showed up at the house on the 11th. However, then that would make anything they told him the 1st through the 10th not subject to privilege. So that's just something I think.
And I wonder if, I know he said he didn't talk to Brian until the 12th and the 13th, though.
And that's probably why he's saying that, to be honest, whether that's the truth or not, is that if he said that he had talked to Brian prior to that, because I mean,
we know he was retained at least by the 11th, because when the police knocked on the door, they gave him the card and said, call our attorney.
Right. Well, that's what he said. When I went back and listened to Banfield, that because some people had been asking about the 10th. I didn't hear him say anything about the 10th in the Banfield interview, but he did say the 11th and the 12th. He said the FBI visited him on the 12th, but that on the 11th, he said he was not retained for this case until the police showed up at the Laundrie's house. And when the police showed up, Chris called him and he said, do not say anything to them other than give them my name and information. But you made a good point just now, is that could also be why Bertolino has been saying, I've been the parents' lawyer for 20 years, because then privilege would exist if he was retained by the parents, as their family attorney.
Like, we've had an ongoing relationship. Just Wiggling Through Life sent 2 super chats. Thank you, Just Wiggling Through Life. The first says this: my husband was an alarm installer and did maintenance on them. He actually shared with me that most auto record footage, and most don't know this. I didn't know that. And I would be interested to know what kind, if they had alarm footage, what was it? And then the second super chat said this: the FBI also did not request the footage. According to the FBI, they have not requested any other footage from the body cams.
Wow. Yeah. So we're still back to the north. It almost seems like the Northport police, no matter what they're saying about having a seat at the table with the FBI, just don't really know what the FBI is doing. It seems like there's 2 separate investigations going on.
Yeah, I don't think it feels like that. I don't blame the FBI either for being in that in that role where they're like, hey, you know what? We might do a little better on our own on this, situation.
Absolutely. Well, so, okay, I'll jump off now and let other people get on, but I just thought there were some interesting points and people might want to.
You should be a moderator now.
I am. I'm a moderator now.
Yay. Thank you, Kim.
All right. Have a good night.
Love it when Kim calls in. She has great insight, asks good questions, thorough research, roots everything into some sort of source that she sends me, and then makes some conjecture around it. That's great. Here's a clip from Red, White, and Bethune, sort of about her perspective of what was happening.
Our story is very intertwined with Gabby's story. We're YouTubers, and so we film all the time, our everyday lives. It's the freaking Tetons!
They're just driving through the Teton National Forest, and this van is on the side of the road.
It was crazy to us because it had Florida plates, and we're from Florida. And we were like, we can go hang out with them, go say hi. But the van looked very dark. It didn't look like anybody was there.
She doesn't think much of it till many weeks later.
I had got tagged on a story on Instagram by someone saying that the police timeline has changed. And if you were in the campground, please check your footage, check pictures, check anything you have. When we found the footage, I'm like, please keep recording. Please keep recording. Please be on here. And my husband Kyle's standing next to me. And all of a sudden we see this white speck getting closer and closer and closer.
She found it at a particular moment, at a particular time, that allowed the police to pinpoint where Gabby's body might be.
And we both got goosebumps all over our body. We knew it was her van as soon as the footage passed by it.
Wow. So that's the little clip about Red, White, and Bethune. And I find it to be incredibly interesting just because she's sharing her sort of perspective. Had she not been there, could you imagine that? Had Red, White, and Bethune not have that footage, could you imagine that? They may have never been able to find Gabby's remains. I wonder what kind of life Brian would be leading if that was the case. Just wiggling through life. Thank you for the super chat. You say sorry small typing space. Also, several other people have claimed to see the same footage I saw from an Australian TV channel with a second witness. That's great. Do you have it? Do you have the source to that you can send me? That'd be amazing. You said he corroborated the same story as the other witness, and he's a retired law enforcement officer. It was like 3 weeks ago. I can't find the link now to save my life. Okay, I just was asking about that. Thank you again for the super chat. If you do find it, can you send it to me? Like if there's a way that you can find it, if you do happen to run across it, can you send it to me? It's interesting as we sort of process this and we're working through our thought process of this together, sort of what was happening that time with Red, White, and Bethune. They're like, we wanted to go back. They had Florida plates. We wanted to have a conversation with them. It didn't seem like we were going to be able to have a conversation with them because there was nobody kind of standing outside. And I saw in another sort of interview clip that they actually thought that the van door was closed. They asked them if the van door was closed. And if they asked Red, White, and Bethune if they thought the van door was closing, they said yes. Here's another clip. Avery just sent it to me, but it's sort of like another clip from that
August
2020
29th
that's
is when we
not
see
out
Brian
yet.
resurface. And it is with a woman who's traveling through the Teton National Forest with her boyfriend. And they pick up hitchhikers, which, by the way, is very common out there.
In the beginning of the investigation, you didn't really know where to look for Gabby Petito. But then those TikTok videos by Miranda Baker started to come out.
My name is Miranda Baker. I'm 22 years old. My boyfriend and I came into the Tetons. That's when Brian had approached us. And then he said, hey, I need to get a ride back to Jackson. Do you think you could give me a ride back?
He offered $200 to drive a few miles, and they thought that that was a little odd.
He was really clean for someone who had been hiking for multiple days. That did strike me as weird, and especially his backpack, it wasn't full. It was empty. He said him and his fiance were camping at a dispersed campsite near Snake River. The biggest red flag is, why would you go camping by yourself for multiple days alone with just a backpack and leave your fiance in your van? It just doesn't make sense. We were driving for 15 minutes and I had brought up, why are you going to Jackson Hole? And once I said Jackson Hole, that's when the energy shifted.
He got very upset about that, said, please let me out of the car. He got out of the car, and as Miranda Baker states, about 10, 15 seconds later, he was gone.
So that was another good clip. It's good to hear that from Miranda Baker, her perspective. Tina says this: there was talk a while ago about a third body cam from the female officer. Was there one? And if there is, why isn't it being released? They're not releasing it. It's a federal. I think it's because it's a federal situation. So I don't envision them releasing it. It was a National Park Service officer, and the federal agencies have been really tight about some of that stuff that they have. Here's just some more stuff of from Brian Enton today, talking on Twitter about his experiences in Moab and the Grand Teton. And this is some of what we watched yesterday. I'll just have it sort of rolling there. We played that video yesterday and went over it. So what do you guys think about some of this that we're seeing and talking about today? Obviously, Brian Enton's going and tapping on the door, learning some more information, sort of giving us sort of that other perspective. I think we need to be doing that. We need to get different angles on all of this so we can get closer to finding whoever this person is hasn't been around here very long. I just put that chat up. I don't know how to say that name, or I would have. But yeah, Brian in there sort of like tapping on the door, getting some more information for all of us to learn. And I think we got to keep doing that. 2020 in on it. Australia 60 Minutes did a special a couple weeks ago. I think 60 Minutes America's doing a special on it soon. And so I think, yeah, we definitely need to be keeping our eyes peeled and open to this as more information sort of that comes out. Thank you, Lori, for that super sticker. Big thumbs up. Means a lot to have that. Angelina says this. I feel if the police do a better job, the FBI would have had so much more to work with. Do you think the FBI could secretly be investigating anybody from Northport PD? At this point, honestly, Northport PD, and you'll hear it in this clip right here, this guy right here is saying that the Northport PD is actually under investigation to see if there was any mishandling. I don't think the FBI is doing the investigation, but it is an outside agency investigating Northport Police Department to see if they mishandled the situation or not. And it sounds like we hate the outcome of it. We really hate the outcome of it. This police officer saying in this moment, like, hey, the police officers are not happy with what's happening, but at the same time, like, it ends up being what it is, but they're really distraught over it. But did they do the best they could do with the information they had in that moment? And I would say the answer is probably, from an outsider's perspective that's going to come in and investigate them, I think they're going to end up saying, yeah, they did the best that they could. We got another clip from the 2020 episode. I'll put it on here. Oh, Northport. I'm sorry. You're right. Moab and Northport. Sorry, I got them mixed up just then.
And actually a year prior, and this was something that they had been planning for quite some time to do, to travel the country. I think that for a lot of young people right now, this idea of leaving everything behind, getting in a van, seeing the world is attractive.
I love the van.
Van life is exactly what it sounds. It's living in often a restored van or school bus and having this kind of nomadic lifestyle where you can travel all around the country.
Van life is an aspirational lifestyle, and it is something that people seek. It attracts a certain person who wants to travel and sort of see things up close, not from the air or from a speeding train, but traveling at their own pace.
Van life was made popular and kind of grew into people's vision of what they were seeing through this very popular film, Nomadland.
It's fine. I need a ride to town. Well, why? I blew my tire.
There's kind of a joke in van life that you really never know where you're going to go more than a few days in advance, and that's really very true.
It was growing in popularity largely through Instagram and YouTube.
The pandemic really flipped our life on its head. The life we were living was completely opposite of what really brings us joy.
We've taught ourselves everything we needed, from solar electricity and battery power to plumbing to vehicle maintenance.
The term nomad is frequently used among van lifers.
It is really nice and sunny today. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning.
And your hope is that you will become an influencer.
The way to live a sustainable life as a van lifer is to have millions of followers online. Gabby definitely wanted to be part of this community. She and Brian were posting it on Instagram, on YouTube, and they were documenting this journey for people on the internet to essentially engage with.
Oh my
yes.
God, got it.
Oh my God.
When I look at Gabby's Instagram, I see her building her brand. She followed a lot of people who also were doing the van life thing too. So it looks like she was following the formula for how to get successful there.
Living in a van is a struggle. It is not the beautiful, picturesque life that a lot of internet creators paint it out to be.
And Gabby and Brian were in a smaller van than I usually see people in. I imagine that's a lot of pressure. Any relationship has fights, but now you're in this tiny van. There's no place else to go. I don't know what you're supposed to do when you're in that kind of an environment.
Life on the road is difficult. You have to pivot a lot. It changes in a millisecond, and you have to be ready for that.
The tent is just coming in on me. The wind is so bad. I've just been sitting here like this for a while.
Especially for Gabby and Brian, they were struggling. They were not the cream of the crop van life creators. They were not going viral. They were really living hand to mouth. And so there was a lot of tension. You could tell around that.
I'd like to report a domestic dispute. We drove by and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
I couldn't feel over it and I couldn't handle that. I'm sorry.
What do you guys think about that? I mean, that was an interesting sort of take on van life, why they did it, Gabby wanting to be an influencer. Did you guys think that Gabby wanted to be an influencer? Like, do you think that that was like her perspective and sort of goal in all of this, that she was wanting to be a full-time YouTuber or Instagrammer or TikToker and make money living in the van life community? Or do you think she was doing it because it was a passion of hers? That's a question that I had too. Like, was she building a brand intentionally, or was she doing something that she loved? And it just so happened that she was documenting it in a way that might lead to some growth like that. I would say it's a little bit of both. I think it was a passion of hers that she loved, but also at the same time, she was building a website. So I do think it was both. 9 Danielle Kathy says both. Both. So I'm going to go check the poll too, because I wanted to see where you guys ended up on that poll after I showed that video. More people voted yes. About a third of you, I said, was it okay after we learned more about the evidence, talked about why the Moab police might be charging $98 for that. Looks about almost a third of you guys. I'm going to ask another question. Do you think Gabby was working to build her own brand and become a full-time influencer? Oh, so no, she was interested in certain things, that she was really interested in the environment, nature, and so I know some of you are saying both. The question is, do you think Gabby was working to build her own brand and become a full-time influencer? Yes or no? And I think that's a good way to get a clear sort of perspective on that. I think they should talk to the woman that cut her hair when she met Brian at the airport. Her hair was done, her nails was done. She was there quite some time. You know, people talk. They say that one of the reasons why people talk when they get their hair cut is because there's something like very like personal of someone touching your head, and there's a science behind it actually. So when they talk about people gossip and stuff in the nail salon and the hair salon, there's like a scientific evidence of the reason why people do that. Avery says this. Thank you, Avery, for the super chat. I love these 2020 clips. We see tidbits of Gabby we had never seen before. Yes, I really like them too. Thank you for sharing them. I'm going to share this. I'm going to go ahead and share this next one because this just talks about the search conditions.
The Grand Tetons,
in Wyoming, just north of Jackson Hole, on Spread Creek Road, which is the camping area that Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito were last camping at. So once someone goes missing, you hope you have a starting point. Where were they at last? When did you see them? The quicker you get search teams out, the better. The reality is time's against you.
The twin searches that are underway right now in separate parts of the country for Gabby Petito and her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie.
In the Gabby Petito case, it wasn't someone coming forward saying, she left, she was wearing this, I last saw her walking in that direction, to give searchers any kind of assistance. How are you going to cover hundreds of square miles of rugged, rocky terrain? I mean, what a nightmare. Where we're at right now is the Grand Tetons in Wyoming, just north of Jackson.
Kim Brooks, I sent you an important email on a tip from Lisa. Crazy review of Mary Piglet. So let's look at that. Try to put it on here on the screen for you guys. So I read it, Kim. Even if it's not from Gabby, it tells you a little bit about the Mary Piglet. Thank you for the super chat too, by the way. So sort of the one that we would be looking at is this review right here in the middle from a couple of months ago. And this is attached to a Google account, most likely. So I wonder if we can go back and sort of search it. They have 17 other reviews, Kim. But so I'm going to lean towards I don't think it's Gabby, but because we can go look at their other reviews and see the other places they went. However, what they describe could be a very similar situation at the same time. Overall, about the Mary Piglet, the food was mediocre. When we received our food, it was dry. We mentioned that we were missing beans instead of telling us so that we could order something else. They brought the food out without beans, and when it was time to pay, we asked to split the bill. They accidentally ran the entire bill through the first time. Then they tried to rerun it, which of course declined it for suspicious activity. And instead of mentioning their error, they just told us that the card was declined. And on top of that, the transaction was not reversed, so we were charged twice. Overall, a crummy experience. And so that's one of the things that I was thinking was like, hey, maybe like possibly they had a bad experience, and I don't know. So that was from Kim. What do you guys think? Just looking at the comments, trying to get your perspective on that. What do you guys think? Do you think that was something that possibly happened? Rico says, how could they split the bill if Brian didn't have any money? I don't really know if they had money or not. Do they know if Brian had a gun or not? We don't know. We know there's a picture with Gabby holding a gun. That's the only thing we really know about a gun. Lisa says, yep, that's why she went back in the restaurant. Hey, Kim.
Hey. I just wanted to add one quick thing because I did what you said. I went and investigated Gabrielle Gill real quick on the reviews. And it's really interesting because a lot of people have been pointing out weird reviews that Brian had written. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
So this Gabrielle Gill account, I don't know, you know, I'm in marketing, and there are companies that pay people to go write reviews of various companies, and you might get like $50, et cetera, per review. But I think this Gabrielle Gill account, like in some cases, it sounds like an old woman. In some cases, it sounds like it says my wife. In some cases, it says my husband on the reviews. So I think that there's a possibility, and most of the reviews are in Florida, except for this Mary Piglet one. So I think it's a possibility that people had been kind of second guessing Brian's mental state due to the reviews. But I'm really thinking that maybe they worked for a company where they were paid per review, because I've worked with a lot of businesses that think that that's a good way to get reviews, and that's wrong. If you're a business owner, Google figures that out.
And so here are Gabrielle Gill's 20 contributions, 19 reviews, 1 photo.
And it's at Riverwalk Pizzeria is the only photo in Orange City, Florida.
So the most recent review seems
would have been
to
the right timing.
Oh yeah, they're all in Florida.
except for this one.
That's very interesting.
And that 2 months ago would have been the right timing. But it's really.
There is a picture though, and that doesn't look like somebody he would be with probably in this other picture, right?
No, no.
Hang on just a second. Shelly, re-email that to me because I didn't get an email from you. I just checked. And then Avery asked this question, and thank you for the super chat too, Shelly. Avery asked this question. Thank you, Avery, for the super chat. What is the first photo attached to the review? Okay, that's what we got up here.
Yeah. But I wonder when I get off, I'm going to go search and see if that photo is anywhere else. It could be a photo that was used in another review.
Look at that design on the cup.
And that's very interesting
and there's crayons, which means there's kids there. So
could that
be Cassie?
That's what I was thinking. Could that be Cassie? Because I know for a fact, and I haven't talked about this much because it's irrelevant, but I know for a fact that Cassie and Roberta and Gabby were all selling on Poshmark. Keith can tell you later about my Poshmark addiction. But I know that they were all three selling on Poshmark. So they were doing a lot of random money earning things. But yeah, like you say right there, it was saying I ordered them for my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another one that says something different, that says something about, because I just kind of glanced through the reviews real quick. But anyway, my supposition, Woody's Barbecue, my supposition is that they could have been possibly writing. And this is not, I know this is some people are going to say speculation, but this is what I do for a living, and I know that there are companies that pay per review to write reviews.
Didn't he work at Publix? Here's a review for Publix. So it talks about his wife being in severe pain. So
yep, but in some other posts, it talks about something that indicated that it was a female. So I think there's a possibility when you work for these companies, just so everybody knows, I'm not just making this up. When you work for these companies and do work for these companies, they'll say you're a middle-aged woman. You go to this company for this, write a review, and you get paid for the review. So it's really shady. In SEO, we call it black hat tactics. And it does work temporarily because the more reviews you have, the better your Google ranking is going to be.
People on Instagram send me messages all the time that they want me to purchase a product.
Mm-hmm.
Then I send them the receipt, and then they pay me money for the product and the reimbursement to then write a review on Amazon or wherever.
And you know why they do it that way is because a lot of times, you'll see on Amazon or you'll see on product pages where people say, I'm writing this review, but I got the product for free because the law says you have to disclose that. However, if they do it the way you're talking about, that doesn't have to be disclosed that the product was given for free, because that takes away some of the credibility of the review.
So this is pretty interesting. Like, I'm not saying it is him.
Me too. Me neither. But it's very interesting.
It's kind of weird that all the other reviews, it's not the same part of Florida. Obviously, you can see on the map where those reviews are.
Right.
Here, where my mouse is at, near Sarasota, that's sort of where they live, that area. So,
but if they're fake, if by chance, and again, I know some people are going to say speculation, but again, this is what I do for a living. If by chance it is one of those paid services, sometimes they will hire you to give the competition of their client 1-star reviews. And it might be like you do all your reviews in Orlando, because Google will look at the IP, where the IP address generates from. So it might be, when you're hired, it's like you generally do reviews in the local area of your IP address. But anyway, so this one might be real versus all the other ones could be paid. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting because when Lisa S. brought it up, this sounds like it could have been very similar to the scenario that caused the problem.
Even if it's not them, although the time frame works out, so maybe like that's kind of crazy too, right? But even if it's not them, it's like this sort of tells you what another situation that could have happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'll jump back off, but I just wanted to tell you what I found.
Good catch, Kim. Thanks for calling
All
back.
right, bye everybody.
What do you guys think about that? That was wild a little bit. That was a little bit wild. Just looking at the comments, seeing if there's anything that any of you guys had to say. Like, again, if it's them or not, this sort of gives you a picture of possibly what would have been going down at the Mary Piglet. Gary Vaughn says it's a real stretch. Okay, I can accept that, but either way, it's like it's an actual, in my opinion, it's an actual review of sort of what was going down at that time. So take it or leave it from that perspective. Texas guy says, I hate to say it, but Gabby was a normal person. Being killed doesn't make you an angel. She had wants and needs just like the rest of us. Okay, agree. Amy says some restaurants have a paper tablecloth will write on the table and leave the box crayons. That's true. Avery says, I'm crushing on Kim's investigative skills right now. I think everybody's got a little jealousy on Kim's ability to get down in the nitty-gritty of all of that. There was one more video from 2020 I wanted to show you guys that I hadn't played yet. This is a good summary from the 2020 special. This one talks about Gabby being an artist.
Gabby Petito never goes outside.
She was happy, genuinely happy. She's like, "Yeah, come on, let me show you this. We'll go to the beach. Just listen to the ocean. Look at the waves. Look at the sand. Watch the sunrise. Watch the sunset."
Driving across the country all the way to California and Oregon was an absolute dream. Wish I was back running down the beach looking at the Pacific Ocean.
She did a lot. She was very busy. She loved her friends. She was a beautiful artist, brilliant artist, just so talented.
Everybody sees the pictures of her out there as an adult, but when I close my eyes and I think of her, I still remember a little blonde hair, bright blue-eyed little girl with her hair up in, ponytails.
Gabby wants to be adventurous. If you look at the Instagram posts, it's just very clear. She just loves life and loves new experiences.
Made my favorite mango smoothie for breakfast, went on a nice little hike, had some sushi, and watched the sunset before going home to some chocolate-covered strawberries. What could be better than this? #21.
The Gabby Petito story is important because I think everybody not only saw a little bit of someone they knew in the story, but also, frankly, maybe saw a little bit of themselves.
For the sunset.
Gabby wore her heart on her sleeve. Gabby believed everything could come true. She believed in this perfect love.
I can't wait to get back to days like this, traveling the world with you and asking strangers to take our picture. Never taking moments like this for granted again.
Brian Laundrie is a typical American young man, loved the outdoors by all accounts. They met in high school.
He was a junior when they met in high school. Seems like the both of them were kind of free-spirited.
We don't know a whole lot about Brian Laundrie. There's no friends or acquaintances that have really come forward and wanted to speak with us. If you take a look at his public Instagram page, a lot of the photos are just solo with just him alone.
Brian Laundrie had his own social media accounts too, and he did his own posting.
He definitely fashions himself as being a little edgy.
Gabby and Brian knew each other in Long Island. That's where they're from. She came down to where he was living with his parents in their house.
Well, That was a pretty good little expose. That was not Gabby's actual voice, but my goodness, that sounded close. There's a documentary about Anthony Bourdain called Roadrunner, and they have him narrating it, but they used AI to do it. And you can actually like submit videos of people talking, and it will capture your voice, and then you can type things out and it will read it back as if it was you. It's totally freaky. That was a paid actress, but it sounded very similar to Gabby. Very, I mean, it was crazy to me. So I'm going to put the link in the chat if any of you guys want to hop on for a minute to talk. Stephanie says this. So sad. This just breaks my heart. Gabby was such a sweet young lady. My prayers for Gabby and the wonderful Petito family. Wow. Yeah, definitely. Hey, by the way, I want to shout out our mods. We have incredible mods, and there's a Gen B emoji if you guys haven't seen it for the Feller fam. Encourage her. Let her know you're glad to see her. Send that Gen B emoji into the chat. And I just want to shout out and just say thank you to everybody who's a part of the Feller fam. We have a great Facebook group, great community that's been building there. We had a producer level and only stream last Saturday. It was amazing. Had a great time getting to know you guys and talking with you. And so if you guys haven't thought about joining the Feller fam, I would encourage you to do so. It's a great way to stay connected. Misty, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing okay. And I hope everybody's doing okay. Are you doing good?
I'm all right.
Good. Okay. Some of the things that you were showing tonight, just kind of looking at their relationship through all of this, I still stand firm as to where I was, as far as I believe even a couple of years ago, if someone, the parents that they were living with, whatever, had taken more notice as to how their relationship was really kind of going downhill. And the lady also talking about the van being small, and them having no way to kind of escape if they had these arguments. And then Brian with whatever these other problems were that he had. And, like they're saying, Gabby was a person, she was her way. Brian was a person, he was his way. But I do believe that he had some more serious issues going on, obviously, and he killed this young lady. And he just went back, and I believe, like I said, I'm sticking with my story. I believe he went back and killed himself. And we as a country, as a world, need to know what signs that we've got to look for with our kids and even adults, and not be these people that are afraid to, if they see this one arguing with their kid or hitting their kid or whatever, or fighting with each other or something like that. Pay attention to things around us and know when to speak up. You know what I mean? Because this maybe could have been, avoided had the right person spoken up.
Definitely. I think you're right on the money with that. Misty, thank you for calling in today. Appreciate your insights.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you too.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Avery, thank you for the super chat. You said Brian's Instagram is deleted. I noticed that too, and I was curious, how did it become deleted? Tax Law and you, how are you? Hello? Looks like they're frozen. I'll give them a second to get unfrozen. Yeah, I noticed his Instagram was deleted as well. So wasn't sure what that situation was. Dear Darla says this all could have been avoided if they, I don't know what that means, if they stated. I think it could have been avoided, but it wasn't avoided. And I don't know. The thing is that we've been talking a lot about, if you're in a DV type relationship or toxic relationship, you need to take steps away from it. There's nothing that, in my opinion, should keep you in one. And I know it's hard and difficult. There's a thing called the Aspire News app. If you are in a situation where it's violent, you're not sure how you can get out, Dr. Phil's wife created a thing called the Aspire News app. You should download that and use that. It's a tool. Robert says the Laundries were eating s'mores around the campfire while Gabby was laying out in the elements. That's one way to put it for sure, Robert. Thank you for that super chat. I think and I think a lot of people's heart breaks over that, just the reality of that. The other side of it, I think people who would defend the Laundries would say, well, we don't know what they knew. It wasn't unlike Brian to sort of separate from Gabby when they were having fights. He may have just came home and played it all off. And so I think, and the parents didn't know and Cassie didn't know anything was going on. So I think that would have been the other side of it. But I think a lot of people are on the same page as you on that one. Avery, how are you?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I got these Bluetooth earphone things in.
Okay, good.
Well, it's not good because I can't hear you through them, but I'm connected.
Oh.
So I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But anyhow, so I just seen somebody commented, and let me pull these things out. Maybe my ears are too big. I just seen somebody commented and said his Instagram is still up. So am I looking at something wrong?
If it's up, then it's a fake account because it was deleted.
Okay, I was gonna say, but before I talk about other things, but how could it be deleted? Does that mean somebody has somebody in his family has access to or knows his passwords or something? That's weird.
Could be, or they could have requested, like Facebook now, once a family member dies, and Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same company, now called Meta, you can request it to be turned into like a remembering page. And so I would say they have some level of mechanism that a family member can request that it's taken down after somebody passes away. So they could have done that.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah, so my whole plan was to get these Bluetooth earbuds so that I could come on camera and be able to hear you at the same time, but apparently that didn't work. So I don't know what I'm doing.
I knew that was part of your plan. So then you surprised me because we talked like 2 hours ago and you're like, I'm going to get some Bluetooth earbuds. I'll be ready to go. And then
and I did.
Now you're like, I got these Bluetooth earbuds. I'm like, but you're not on camera.
I know, because I can't hear you. Like when I'm listening to just, your stream, it comes through them into my ears. But just now when I went to StreamYard, all of a sudden it didn't.
You gotta change your mic setting probably on StreamYard. I don't know for sure.
Okay, well I'll figure it out. But anyhow, so before I start talking about this, I want everybody in your audience to know that I have sent you screenshots and everything, so you can verify that I have been talking to Cassie.
Mm-hmm.
And
verified.
Yes. So, man, I don't even really know where to start, but I seen a whole different side of the Laundries.
If you guys have any questions about that, maybe type them in or something.
Oh, how do I see the stream when I'm on StreamYard? I don't know how to do that.
If you're from a phone, I have no idea. I've only really been on it on my computer.
Oh boy.
But it should be on the screen. You should see the screen. You should be seeing what I see.
No. Y'all know I'm blonde, so. Okay, here. Comments? Oh, okay. Comments.
Yeah, and I'll put them on the screen, though, if there's one that comes up, just because it makes it easier. So,
okay.
Yeah. What was you saying?
So I've been talking with Cassie back and forth, and I've just been coming in really gently with her because I'm not talking to her to exploit her. I'm not wanting to do that. Like, I just genuinely felt like reaching out to her. it's just I don't know why, but I just wanted to reach out to her, and I just wanted her to know that the whole world doesn't hate her, that that people do care. I wanted to warn her about Jonathan Riches, and we've kind of developed a little relationship, and we found that we have some things in common and stuff.
You can verify Kim's statement. I didn't want to say it. Were you on here when Kim was saying, like, she was like, I know that she was on Poshmark or whatever?
Yeah. And so Avery, quit dissing us blondes. We got to stick together. Gen B, I know it. But so son, you have to leave because I'm talking about something that is above your age level.
Get out of the room, boy.
So she was talking to me a lot about like how this has affected her children, and
that's heartbreaking.
I sent the screenshots to Tyler, and again, I'm not wanting to exploit her. I am going to ask her about coming onto the show, and I think that she probably will. But so let me tell you what they were doing today. They absolutely 110% did not go to New York. I have to say that first. They did not go to New York. They did not sign any literary deals, nothing like that. In fact, she even has pictures of their when they left, and Bertolino said they went to go grieve privately together. I mean, she even has pictures of that, and they're not in New York. Like they didn't go to New York. She didn't even know what I was talking about. When I said literary deal, she was like, what is that? Like she went, they didn't go to New York. And are you still there?
Yeah, I'm listening intently.
Oh, okay. Well, when you go quiet like that, I think I did something wrong. That I'm just talking.
Oh yeah. I know I do that too sometimes. We do have a super chat from Zan's Beats. Thank you, Zan's Beats, for the super chat. Technically, Brian died an innocent man. No evidence was tied to him as the reason for Gabby's death. It's never been revealed who took Gabby's life. Thank you, Zan's Beats, for that. What was your perspective on that, Avery?
I think time will tell. I think that they are still working on getting DNA, and I think they have subpoenas. Somebody told, my son's walking past me with his fingers in his ears, plugging his ears. But I think time will tell. And but anyhow, so Cassie was telling me that for the kids' sake, the kids have just been through so much, losing Auntie Gabby and then Uncle Brian and then the protesters, and not being able to see Grandma and Grandpa, not understanding why, stuff like that. It's just been real hard. So she said they were trying to make like an extra fun Halloween for them. And so when I was talking to her this afternoon, they were actually decorating I'm talking like big time decorating for Halloween. And so I don't remember what prompted it, but then she called and we did a video call, and I seen the laundries like just in a totally different way. First I seen, Roberta was playing with one of the kids and doing decorations, and she was hugging on her or him. I'm not sure which the 5-year-old is, but lots of hugging and loving. And then I seen Chris, he was chasing the kids around trying to make them laugh, and it was just not what I expected at all. Like all we've ever seen is these little tidbits of them, coming from their front door to their vehicle with their heads down. But today I seen this like very loving, happy, well, I don't want to say happy, but they were trying to be happy for the kids. But what I seen was a very loving family.
And you, just so people in the chat know, have been building this relationship with her for weeks. You mailed her stuff. You've been messaging her, like, just so people, like, it wasn't like, oh, you just messaged her out of the blue and she responded. It was like, this is
Yeah.
weeks and weeks of relationship building. And
Yeah.
the incentive on your behalf is so she knows she's loved and cared about. That's it.
Right. I see somebody says, I submit respectfully. I don't believe Avery is talking to Cassie. So, I mean, but I've taken screenshots and everything to send to Tyler, just, you know, so that he knows that I most definitely am. And she was telling me, I don't know, what else? Can you think of anything, Tyler? Because I know I was sharing a lot of
I
it.
didn't know what I should say that you said they said or not, you know? And then I know the Poshmark thing, that verifies that too, because like was saying, I know the Poshmark thing, like, and she used to have that other
Lulu. Yeah, I was asking her about her owning a boutique, and I was telling her, you know, how I had one, and she said she had done Lulu for a while, and that's what her boutique was, and but that she had gotten out of it, you know, for a long time ago. Oh, and she didn't know about the new information about the Mary Piglet, so I told her about that. She said she was really relieved to hear that because she just never has seen her brother like violent or aggressive. She's never witnessed it herself. And so she said it didn't make sense to her that he would just be going off on somebody in a public place like that. So, you know, there was that. And then, what else?
Ben Cecil says, why didn't they answer the Petitos call if they were so nice?
You know, honestly, I think the Petitos were calling the wrong number. That's just my, if they didn't even have the right address, and then Cassie said she had never got a phone call from them. I'm just wondering if they were calling wrong numbers. I don't know.
Thank you, Ben, for that super chat.
I wish I could give an answer, you know, to that. I haven't asked her a lot of detailed questions about the situation because I'm not trying to run her off. I'm just trying to be there for her if she needs somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I understand that for sure. And so you were literally on like a video call with them today.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't like, they weren't being defensive. They weren't like, no, he's not guilty. They weren't saying anything like that.
Yeah, no, they weren't saying, you know, anything like that at all. She was just kind of like showing me what they were doing with the Halloween stuff. And it was just kind of, I don't know, it kind of just took me aback just to see them like as a normal family, grandparents hugging their grandchildren and loving on them, and it was just a different perspective, I guess.
Your son was talking to their kids.
Yeah, he came over and because he wanted to see, he heard kids, you know, making noise and laughing, and he wanted to come over and see, and so he was telling them that what he's doing for Halloween. And yeah, that was really about it. And I mean, yeah, we're still messaging, you know, back and forth. I told her that I would love to come down and have lunch with her sometime. And I'm really hoping that she will talk with you, Tyler, whether it's in private or whether it's publicly, and pray with you and just be able to, you know, open her heart. And that's just really what I want for them. I don't know so much about the laundries because I'm confused on my feelings for them. I would have to know for sure that they purposely and intentionally ignored the Petitos. So I don't know. My feelings are confused, but I do know that what I seen today was like two very loving people towards their grandchildren. So it was just kind of different.
And all the people, if people in here like David is saying, Tyler, please stop this. Well, David, I've let all kinds of people call in and share whatever ideas or perspectives they have. And in this situation, you know, I've seen with my own eyes these interactions. So
Yeah, I mean, I tell Tyler, like, I literally screenshot him, me and Cassie's messages, and I tell him, like, almost step for step, just so. But I just figured I would share that, and I don't know if there's haters. I don't care. I've never cared what other people think, so.
Well, it's like, and let's remind people how Jennifer Coffendorfer did her first ever YouTube show. Oh, it was Avery.
And I got Bridget too. Hey, I get points for that.
And you got Bridget.
Although I'm still crushing on Kim right now. I just that whole review thing, boy.
Who else is going to come on that's checking their calendar right now?
Oh, so I was like, okay, we need to get a good legal attorney to answer some of these questions that we have, right? So I called Jose Baez's office and I said, and then I had to follow up with an email and I said, is there any way we would prefer Jose Baez or somebody from the office to come on to the Tyler Feller show and just give us some insight on some legal questions, that we have about the Gabby Petito case. Just nothing but insight.
Run through the highlights of Jose Baez for people who don't know who he is.
Oh, he's the one who represented Casey Anthony.
Yes. Amongst some other high-profile cases.
Yeah. And so, wait. Wait, hold on a minute. Wait, I seen something about Avery, people are very skeptical. You know your truth. Don't stop. Oh, okay. Thank you. It's like, what? But anyhow, yeah, so they are checking their schedules to see which one of them will be able to come on. And because you do go on like a little bit later, in the evening to see who can come on, but they're supposed to get back to me by Monday to let me know.
And I will say this too, like from Cassie's perspective, they want interactions like this to be known because there's such a bad public persona around them. And so right now they're limited on what they're really able to do, and they don't want to be. They want some of the truth that they feel in their heart.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Somebody said, why are there two Avery photos? I have no idea. When I go to StreamYard, it goes to my business, Tops and Tumblers. And so when I used to come on here, you would see my little Tops and Tumblers logo. And I got tired of looking at that. So I went in and uploaded a photo, but it doesn't match the one when I comment. So I don't know. I'm not very...
Well, StreamYard's a different website than YouTube. That's why. So...
Oh, we'll see. There, the one who's asking about two photos, that's why. There, now you know.
Okay. Well, thank you for calling in, Avery.
Alrighty. Bye, guys.
Bye. Well, listen, guys. Be respectful. Avery's done a lot for the show. She's gotten us great guests on the show. She contributes significantly to the success of this show. Strike Blitz, you really need to chill out. Okay, I'm telling you right now, you really need to chill out because you're going to be eating your words, and that's what happens sometimes. We got to be very careful. Okay, we got to be very careful on how we communicate. Cindy, how are you?
Hi, Tyler. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Hi, Feller fan. I usually don't like going on video, but I know you like to see people.
I do. I do like to see the people. Bonus points when the video is on.
On the Instagram for Brian, I did notice it was gone today, and then I seen somebody post about that. I was reading, I don't know if it was the day before or the day before that. I lose track with days, but I was reading all the comments on his account, and some of them were really pretty nasty. So I'm guessing that's why it was probably taken down. Now, I don't know if it was the family or maybe Instagram itself. But some of those comments were really pretty bad. One extreme to the other on it.
I think that it's probably a good thing that it's taken down. It's not known who removed Laundrie's account, so at this point, there's just speculation. We don't know if Instagram did it or if the family requested that it be done.
So like I said, if the family was reading any of the comments, they wouldn't want to read it. And kudos to Avery and Kim, doing all the work for the channel. I think that's great. We haven't heard from Don. I wish Don would call back in. Have you heard from Don?
Last night.
Really late. It must have been really late because I missed the last couple of minutes. Because
it was towards the end of the call. He called in. He had some very polarizing thoughts that I got a lot of emails about today. So listen to it with caution, I would say.
I had to go to bed because I work in the morning, but I was up for most of it. I must have dismissed them. I really like his input. But anyway, I just want to let you know about the Instagram. I was actually scrolling through it. When you go through the scroll of comments. And some of them were pretty nasty. That's about all I wanted to say on that. I hope everybody's having a good night and everybody have a great weekend. Okay.
Hey, Cindy, it means so much that you turned your video on to talk to us. Thank you.
I know. I usually don't like doing that. I do YouTube videos, but I don't like watching myself on screen. So go figure, right?
Well, it's a blessing. Thank you.
All right. You have a good night.
Bye. Pocket Change XD says to Avery, rule number 1 of YouTube, never read the comments. That's really hard to do because you want to encourage the people who leave good comments. And then when people leave bad comments, it ends up being a really hard thing to do. Renee in North Carolina says, awesome, Avery. Thank you for your hard work. We appreciate you. We do appreciate you. Renee, thank you for that super chat. Tyler says, or Kim says, my face is all whacked out from my crazy costume makeup today. Oh, that's right. It is Halloween time. So if people start calling in, they might be dressed up for Halloween. It's funny. Leanne, how are you? Oh, doesn't look like you're connecting. You may have a bad connection. Let's see if I can try to add it again. Doesn't look like it's working. Gracie says, nobody has the facts about what the Laundries knew. I think Gabby is amazing, but I think that we are all flawed. That's true. Every single one of us has some flaws, for sure. I want to shout out Linda, who purchased the Don't Stop book. And by the way, we're still working on getting all of it across all of the different platforms that you could pick up the Don't Stop book. If you want a hard copy, the best way to get that is on my website, tylerfeller.com. But the Don't Stop book, the Kindle version, is available right now on Amazon. And so you can go to amazon.com, type in Don't Stop. You can pre-order it. The Kindle version's cheaper too, obviously, because we don't have the cost of printing the book. But if you're interested in that, feel free to check that out. And we just wanted to shout out Linda, who made that purchase of the Don't Stop book. It was really cool. Thank you, Linda. Let's see. Shades 1960 says, when your caller don't read the comments, easy to get sidetracked responding to negative. Yeah, that's true. Like, try not to read a comment unless we put it on the screen, because that's exactly right. Like, it's easy to get distracted by something negative that you can see. David says, waiting for the book to arrive. Jennifer B, not Jen B, Jennifer B. Title no longer works for the length of time we've been here. Well, we started on that topic about and that was the source of our discussion for the first 30 minutes about whether or not the police should be charging to release that body cam footage. In my opinion, charging $98 covers their administrative costs. It's not like they were making a bunch of money off of it. None of the money went directly to a police officer, but instead to the department. And for those reasons, it didn't quite bother me that they were doing that. Making a bunch of money off of it. None Lacey, of the money went directly to a police, but instead to the department. Lacey, there's an echo. I'll give you a second to get it fixed. You got to mute YouTube and make sure your audio is coming through only on StreamYard.
Did it stop?
Yeah, did it stop now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Lovely internet. I just wanted to wish you well and get well, and I wanted to know if you're taking turmeric.
I have taken a lot of turmeric, a lot of ginger.
Niacin?
No.
Vitamin E?
Probably vitamin E.
My doctor, a good friend of mine, told me that you should be taking that. That would really help strengthen everything, vessels and everything.
Yes. My problem isn't necessarily we're learning with my heart. It's like I got lots of issues. I got to have a brain MRI on Tuesday next week. So
it will heal.
There's more going on than what we realize, I think.
Okay. Just take it. Talk to your doctor first, though.
Okay.
But anyway, I called because I'm worried about you. You're in my heart. Everybody's, But anyhow, I didn't call about Brian. I already said what I thought about him. We'll just see what happens. But it's all crazy. But I just want to wish you well and God bless you and keep up the great work.
Well, Lacey, I'm so glad you're a part of the Feller fam. Thank you so much for your encouragement.
Love you guys. God bless you.
Yeah. Have a good evening. Here's a new video just released from this 2020 special. When Brian Laundrie vanished, the attention intensified as internet sleuths who cracked the case wide open investigated and theorized.
Grand Teton National Park, where Gabby Petito spoke directly with her family for the last time before she disappeared.
The search continues for Gabby Petito, family, friends, and now the...
Where we're at right now is the Grand Tetons in Wyoming, just north of Jackson Hole, on Spread Creek Road, which is the camping area that Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito were last camping at.
Law enforcement agencies on both sides of the country are looking for clues to find 22-year-old Gabby Petito.
So once someone goes missing, you hope you have a starting point. Where were they at last? When did you see them? The quicker you get search teams out, the better. The reality is time's against you. In the Gabby Petito case, it wasn't someone coming forward saying, she left, she was wearing this, I last saw her walking in that direction, to give searchers any kind of assistance. How are you going to cover hundreds of square miles of rugged, rocky terrain? I mean, what a nightmare.
Hello. Nobody knew who Gabby Petito was until, unfortunately, she disappeared. But because she'd created this incredible log of her travels, with her effervescent presence on social media, everybody wanted to find this woman. And now with the internet, people were going to take it upon themselves to find her. Suddenly we have internet sleuths.
I heard about Gabby Petito roughly around the time that she was reported missing. People were like, oh, she's an internet influencer.
It's a true crime story happening in real life, which you feel like you can participate in, by making content on the internet. People on TikTok were immediately going to scrutinize every part of everyone's online presence. Why is she posting with a pumpkin? Why is this video framed like that?
They're getting into Gabby Petito's mind and trying to align themselves to find out what happened. They're looking at the body language. They are looking into the timestamps. They're creating a map of everywhere that they traveled in this van.
Well, when did she really stop posting? Is this her?
The fact that she randomly posted it on August 25th with just that caption and did not tag a location, to me is very suspicious.
This caption seems different from the one 5 months ago and the way that she's talking.
Also notice that the capitalization is different. She never capitalized anything but the first word, and now she's capitalizing different words, which is what he does in his writing.
Looking for breadcrumbs anywhere. They're hoping for any type of clue.
That's us, internet sleuths. It's talking about us. Life Online, the last days of Gabby Petito. Museum Americana says, Tyler, you inspired one of us, and we made the best podcast on missing children. We pray for your health. Thank you for being you. Thank you for those kind words, Museum Americano. I'm so proud of you. You keep up the good work. Matthew 10:26, 1 Peter 2:24. Nancy, those are some of my favorite scriptures. Thank you for sending them. Pray on these scriptures if you feel led. Hebrews 4:16. God bless you and yours. I'm praying about buying your book. Well, Nancy, thank you so much for your super chat and encouragement. And I think the book's going to be great. Even if it's not for you, it could be for someone in your life. And Christmas is just around the corner. So that's one thing to think about. I do mix black pepper with the turmeric, just so you know. Ginger. Well, I'll put cayenne pepper too. Katie Marie, how are you?
Oh, hi.
I put you on as soon as you turn around to cough.
I know. I wasn't expecting that.
It's like you were sitting there, you're like, ready? And then I put you on, you're like...
This is so strange. I can't believe I'm actually on here.
Well, listen, we're happy to have you.
Thank you. All the way from London. So,
I noticed the flag behind
you. Yeah. So, the reason why I love your channel actually is because of the, I think that what's been going on a lot when we look at Brian as well as the whole situation is, it's a very traumatic thing that's happened. And the fact that, when you're talking about, relating it back to, praying and, basically like being there for other people and not judging them. So Avery's call for me, it was amazing to hear her say, like, to give the Laundries that personality and that, their feelings, their emotions, and like that humanity. I thought that was amazing because
it's been missing in any of the coverage from anywhere, any perspective.
Yeah, I know. So that's what I love about your coverage. The fact that, people are very forgiving and loving and really want, ultimately, I don't know if you can say the best out of the situation, but, Christian kind of love.
Yeah.
Ultimately. So, yeah, that's why I love what you do. And I love listening and following from the UK. So I don't hear about it so much over here. And I come onto your channel and it's so thorough.
Yeah, we've definitely taken the word thorough probably to the next level on this situation. Maybe one day I'll be able to come to the UK. I've never been. I had a trip planned to go to India, a mission trip.
Yeah.
And it got canceled right when COVID, but we had to stop in London and it got canceled. So I never got to go.
Oh, you have to come to London. Definitely.
So what are your thoughts on the case?
Well, I mean, I'm just watching it as an outsider. So, I mean, we've never had anything like this in the UK. Nothing, where everyone's so involved and, you've got people online, like looking through all the different social medias. It's just been really intense. So it's just been fascinating to kind of see what's going on. And I love the fact that it's giving coverage to look for other missing people. I mean, that's so important. So I can see a lot of like developments coming, from it in the way that we can search for people, the way that we can kind of try and help and do what we can. Yeah.
I think the internet too, and that it includes this clip that we just watched, has always hurt cases more than they've helped. And this is sort of the first case where collectively sort of major news outlets are saying, the internet has been a big positive on this one. So I think you're right. It's an innovation
on
how some of this has happened before.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fascinating to watch what's going on, and obviously it's so sad, but just seeing how everyone's trying to do their part and be part of this group as well and support each other. I love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
All
Do you have any
right.
other
Well,
thoughts?
I don't really know what to say. I mean, for me personally, mental health is a really important thing. So, I have my own journey with PTSD. So, for me, I've really found it, it's been fascinating to see people talking about the kind of domestic violence that can come up and the kind of covert things that happen as well, so that we don't just see it. It's not like, some people are aggressive and you can see it and, it's obvious. But then there's other people where it is kind of more behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So, they might have their public face, but then when you're in your relationship behind closed doors, it might be quite different. So it's been really important to kind of look at different dynamics of, what's going on in relationships
Yep.
and kind of trying to spot some of those things, because it might help someone we know who's
There
getting
was a
into a
lot of people
situation.
that have felt triggered by some of the conversation that comes out with this, because
Mm.
it brings them back to some of their own situations that they've had to go through. And on the other side of it, there's a lot of people who are in situations like this that are
Mm.
realizing like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how bad it was, but I'm in a situation I need to get out of.
Yeah, and the fact that so many people are talking about it, hopefully they can feel they've got the support to try and get out of it, because you kind of feel like, what's on the other side? If I leave this relationship, I'm leaving potentially my home, I'm leaving like my whole setup to
Mhm.
go out to the unknown. But ultimately, that's what you need to do to save
Yep.
yourself and to so the fact that people are talking, hopefully people in that situation might feel a bit more supported, or like there's people they can talk to, so I think that's been really important. Yeah, I totally agree.
Well, thank you for calling in. Everyone's talking about how much
Yeah,
they love your
thank
accent,
you.
so
Oh, really? Thank you very much. All right,
well,
but it's
have a
lovely to
good,
talk to you.
super evening there, isn't it?
It's
It's like
4
3 in the
a.m.
morning. Yeah, okay. 4 AM, so have a good
Yeah,
evening.
dedicated. All right. Well, I'll
Bye.
see you later. Bye.
That was so cool. 4 AM. Can you imagine staying up till 4 AM? I am sound asleep. Last night, I was asleep before midnight rolled around. I wanna shout out a couple of people too who made a purchase of the Don't Stop book. Maggie for the Don't Stop book, and then Nancy went ahead and got it. Nancy, thank you for picking up the Don't Stop book, and you got it a few copies for Christmas gifts. Thank you, Nancy, for that. That's amazing. Mikey, you're the first person to do this today. Is it Mikey or Mickey? You became a member of the Feller Fam tonight. Congratulations. Thank you for joining the Feller Fam. I promise you're going to love it. John, thank you, John. Always appreciate when you're on here. You're such an encourager to me. You said Brian has a black eye in the picture on your screen. His left eye. It certainly looks like he has a black eye, right? I think that's a photo from a previous trip that they went on. It's not a photo from this most recent van life trip. It was from their previous trip, but yeah, he certainly looks like he has a black eye in that photo, or some kind of marking on his face. Museum Americana with the super sticker. Thank you, Museum Americana, for supporting the channel. Incredible. Cynthia says, sounds out there. I don't know what she's going to say next, but warning, guys, you might not agree with what she says next. But I've read many people say that it's possible that Brian himself was murdered by an angered or fearful family member. Those who are saying this believes it explains a lot. I've heard that theory. I don't believe it personally, but I've heard that theory. So you're not alone in your thinking, for sure. But definitely a thought. Shout out to Brenda, who picked up the Don't Stop book as well. And then Andy, PT. Andy, I'm praying for you, and I hope you get well soon. Thank you. Means a lot. I need lots of prayers, honestly. I've never had a brain MRI and some other testing that I got to have. So I'm just like, wouldn't it be awesome if the Lord just healed me? I believe he can do that. So that's what I'm praying for. I mean, obviously, I believe in modern medicine as well, but I believe in the Lord's ability to heal too. So I'm going to walk through the modern medicine way, but I'm going to trust that maybe the Lord will show up. Kathy, thank you for that super sticker. You say, keep it up. Keep it up. I'm going to do my best to keep it up. For sure. Judy Joby says the Northport police was called back to the reserve because the protesters found more human bones. If you go on Jonathan Riches, you can see for yourself. The thing is, Judy, about Jonathan Riches is he's sort of had a history of faking some things in the past. And so we had a guy, Tony, who called in and completely had scoured the area and didn't find any bone. And so it's hard for me to sort of be in this position where I think the FBI or Northport police would have left some bones out there. I'm not saying that there's not, but the bones that they uncovered the last time that Jonathan Riches was out there, it turned out not to be anything. Museum Americana, thank you for becoming a member of the Feller fam. Make sure to join our Facebook group. You might have to scroll down on the members tab or on the community tab to go down to the members post where the Facebook group is on there. But it's really a great group of people. And we have great conversations on our community tab as well. So if you're a part of the Feller fam and you're not paying attention to some of those community tab posts, you really should do it because we go deeper on all of these conversations and we get to know each other a little bit more too. Paige, thank you for becoming a member of the Feller fam. Cynthia, are they planning to release DNA results? Okay, let's break this down. First off, the forensic anthropologists have been working on the body, I guess now for about 9 days. And they said it would take 7 to 14 days. But yes, they are planning to release from their perspective cause of death and the DNA that's found in Brian. Now, when we talk about Gabby, I don't know if they're going to release Gabby's. And I don't know when and if that's going to happen. When we had a lawyer on a couple times ago, and even when I spoke with Jennifer, it sounds like that stuff would come out in a court type situation. And so if it doesn't go to court, I don't think it's going to happen. John says, thank you, Tyler, Avery, Kim, Jen B, and the great community we have here. This is Tyler's family, sure something special. I am so glad to have found you all. Well, John, we are glad that you found us. And again, I don't know how any of you guys found this page. It blows my mind every time I think about it, but I am glad that you, John, are here, and thank you for that super chat. And I'm glad that all of you guys are here. Actually, Kim, thank you for joining the Feller fam. Welcome. If you're a part of the Feller fam, you get some special emojis. Can you type in there, if you're a part of the Feller fam, what is your favorite emoji? I just want to see it sort of scroll through my screen and just see it. Moon Princess says this, that's the reason I think the parents found him and left him there for the cops to find, because they knew people would be pointing the finger at them. It's one of the reasons. Okay, thank you. Leanne Heck, I know you've tried to get on here and I couldn't, for some reason it wasn't working, but we do have the link pinned in the chat. And so you should be able to click on it from pinned in the chat. Shannon B says, time to read bedtime stories to my girls. But I just wanted to say thank you for all you do. Thank you, Shannon B, for the super chat, for your encouragement. And good night to you and your family. Hope you guys sleep well. Fun size lady, how are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, when you joined the Feller fam and you got to be part of our members only stream, did you really enjoy it?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I loved it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was
That's
a really
great.
good time.
Well, I
Hope we
was
do
so
it again
happy that you
sometime.
did that. And yeah, I don't know how frequently we'll do it, but I definitely have been thinking in my mind, like, okay, we need to have another one of those, because I just thought everyone really enjoyed it.
Maybe once a month or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, for sure once a month. I for sure once a month. I didn't know if we would be having it sooner than that. CK
Yeah.
says, Tyler, did you get my email on October 21st? I love your show. Praying for you. I have gotten so many emails, and that was 8 days ago, so I possibly got it, but if you don't mind resending it, and I'll double check again. Thank you for that super chat. So what's on your mind tonight, fun-sized lady?
Oh, not a lot. I just wanted to come up here and say that it's driving me crazy waiting for the book. Just put that out there.
The countdown is on.
Yeah, I was tempted to go ahead and buy the Kindle version too, so that, because I don't know, is it going to ship before November 16th out to the people that bought it?
Well, that's up in the air. I had that conversation today with my publishing team, and so we are
Gotcha.
really, really working on it.
So yeah, so I was tempted to maybe get the Kindle version too, because if I do that, it will download to my phone on the 16th.
I just got an email from Susan Burlett who says, "I'm technologically challenged, but you'd be a wonderful guest speaker at my church, Central Church in Henderson, Nevada, which saved my life. Your pastor, Judd Wilhite, read my book, and Susan wrote a quote about it. I actually know him, and I write about Central in my book a lot because Central Church was a big part of my life, and so that's exciting. Carol, thank you for becoming part of the Feller fam. So I hope it ships, to answer your question, but I don't know. It depends. There's like just a couple factors in the air right now. So if possible, we'll ship out the pre-orders ahead of time, but
Yeah, I might wait because I mean,
it'll be
I'm gonna
right there
watch my
close.
money, but
Yeah.
but yeah, and then I just wanted to comment about when Avery was up here talking to Cassie. I mean, I'm floored that she has built a relationship up enough with her for her to go on a video, a FaceTime or whatever with her.
Well, yeah, that was crazy to me because like these conversations has been going on for a bit, and I've known about them, but I was like shocked when it was like, oh my gosh, she videoed you. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, I mean, I have my thoughts about the laundries, and they're not all bad. I mean, look, we're all human. We all have feelings. I feel bad for them that they, lost their son.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's, sad for them.
Right.
I do feel like they should have talked more, but they were, Bertolino in their ear.
Yep.
Keep quiet. So I mean, we don't know what we would do in this situation.
I've been saying that. It's like we really don't know, and people say they know, but we don't know for sure.
Right. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had. I just wanted to say I can't wait for the book.
Well, it'll be here before you know it, and if I can get
Yeah.
it to you sooner, I will get it to you as soon as I possibly can.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks for having me up.
Well, thank you for calling in.
All right, bye.
Bye. Debbie Jones, thank you for becoming a member of the Feller fam. Thank you, Renee in North Carolina. Thank you, Carol. All of you guys became part of the Feller fam. Amazing. Thank you guys for being a part of it. Leanne, I think you have a connectivity issue because when we add you, what it's doing is it's sort of like buffering. So it makes me think that maybe your internet doesn't have high upload speed. So you may turn off your camera and just use your microphone, and that might fix your problem. Yeah, there you go. I think you might be muted now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Nikki says, yes, I feel bad that Brian lost his life, but they did wrong. They should just made their son face the consequences and not let Gabby rot. One perspective for sure. Leanne, are you there? Not hearing you. Kathy, I see you down there, but you don't have a microphone connected, so it's not going to allow us to put you in. You got to have your microphone connected. Amen says, with the rubber ducky, Brian's parents were forced into a very strange position. Very terrible for them to experience. I know it is. It has to be one of the most unusual experiences any of us could imagine. I really want Leanne to be on here because it hasn't been working. Are you there, Leanne? Keith, I'm asking the same question. Where's Dante? I bet he's busy tonight. Friday night, probably busy. Where's Dante? Somebody get Dante in the house. Hello, Leanne. If anybody knows Leanne, maybe you can reach out to her and help her get it figured out on how to get it working. Because I feel like she has something to say. I saw her in the chat. So then Gabby's mom, this is from Nice Try, also sent messages to Roberta. No answers from her or Brian. So regardless of Cassie not getting calls, Gabby's mother never mentioned her. Jen B says, Dante's probably out on a hot date. Flame emoji. Leanne, are you there? Marissa, thank you. Thank you for that super sticker. Fist bump. Gave it to you. That's what your sticker said. DK, thank you for becoming a part of the Feller fam. Anytime somebody becomes a part of the Feller fam, I write your name down, and it's a reminder for me to be able to pray for you, think about you. I'm so grateful for you, too. So every time we have a call or a stream and people become a part of the Feller fam, I'm writing your name down, and then just sort of like, you guys probably can't see it, but just as a reminder, just as an attitude of gratitude. You'd be surprised what an attitude of gratitude will do. Jeanette makes a good point. The lawyer advised, do not speak to anyone. Sad they picked the wrong lawyer. I don't know if they really knew what they were getting themselves into, honestly. It's an unfortunate situation, but I don't know if people really knew. Happy Caffeinated Couple says, it warms our heart when we see people on here who have different opinions and still stay kind and respectful. It's good to remember people's worth and value is not dependent on how we view things. That's so true. It's like you matter. And thank you for that super chat. You matter because you're a person. You matter because you matter. You don't matter because what you can do. You don't matter because what you can produce. You don't matter because who you know. You don't matter because what you know. You matter because just you matter. You matter because you matter. And I love it that people from different perspectives can come together. We got to remember, if we want people to hear out our perspective, we have to hear out their perspective. And our culture totally just eradicates that. Like, we live in a world where it's the opposite, unfortunately. We live in a world that's like, let's just hang out with me and my four and no more. All the people who believe the same thing. That's going to not make the world go round. We need people on different perspectives, and that leads to the best results. Nora says, oh, Nora became a member. Thank you, Nora, for becoming a member of the Feller fam. Great to have you. Tina says, my brother had a business card on the dash of his car that said, you matter. It was a reminder to him every day that he mattered. Let's see if there's another. It seems like ABC 2020 had been little by little just releasing more of their show. And so that's sort of what I was doing, just sort of going through there. And here, I'll open that too, just to see what happens. But so we watched that one. The woman who gave, yep, we watched that one. Carol, thank you for picking up the Don't Stop book. Throughout Gabby and Brian's a couple of ladies seemingly happy. Yep, we've watched that one. Beautiful artist, we watched that one. So I think we watched sort of the 20, all of that. Let's see what this. Here, let's put this timeline up. Leah, thank you for that super sticker. A fox holding a heart. Thank you. I just realized I bought this shirt a long time ago and I don't know what's on the back of it. It's National Geographic. Tell me what's on the back of it in the chat. Were you able to see? I bought it at Walmart. They go over different national parks on their shirts. Tyler, we hope to gain subscribers like you. We have 2 people. We are 2 people that have so much to share. Great. I hope you do. I hope everybody go to Museum Americana's podcast. Thank you for the super chat too, by the way. Let me pause this video. Nancy, God's word works in agreement with modern medicine. Joshua 1:8 and 9. In him we live and move and have our being. Thank you, Lord, for ministering to Tyler. Thank you, Nancy, for that prayer. I receive it in Jesus' name. Amen. I receive it. Amen, amen, amen. Looks like there's a video on here that's not the video we've already watched from
Petito.
From 20 minutes.
Slapping her? Yes.
I don't know. We've just been fighting all morning, and
On September 19th, 2021, 9 days after being declared missing, a body matching Gabby Petito's description was found in a Wyoming national park. Petito had been traveling across the U.S. in a van with her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, and documenting the journey on social media.
I love the van.
While we still don't know exactly what happened to Petito, ABC News has used Petito's social media, police reports, and public records to piece together some of the events that led up to her disappearance.
Tracking Gabby Petito's disappearance.
After purchasing a van and deciding to take a cross-country trip together, the couple left Laundrie's family home in Northport, Florida, where they had been living together for more than a year. They then drove to Blue Point, New York for an event with Petito's family and left New York on July 2nd with the intention of driving west to visit state and national parks. Petito and Laundrie traveled through Kansas, Colorado, and into Utah. Gabby documented the trip on Instagram along the way, sharing photos of herself and Laundrie using hashtags like van life and expedition happiness. In mid-August, police in Moab, Utah responded to a 911 call involving a domestic dispute between the couple.
What's your guys' names? I'm Brian. Gabby, Brian, okay.
Police shared their body camera footage of the interaction. Officers reported that the couple admitted to arguing that Petito had slapped Laundrie, but denied that Laundrie hit her.
Take a seat right over here on the curb for me.
They concluded that insufficient evidence existed to justify criminal charges. 7 days later, Petito and Laundrie posted a video documenting their trip on YouTube.
Gabby Petito never goes outside.
all the chocolate melted.
The following week, Petito's family spoke to Gabby for the final time.
She sounded good and excited to continue her trip and excited to start her YouTube channel.
And on that same day, a collage of photos was posted to her Instagram account. Those would be the last documented photos of the 22-year-old. On August 27th, two witnesses saw Petito and Laundrie arguing at a restaurant in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
His demeanor, the way he was acting, he freaked me out.
On that same day, Gabby's mother, Nicole, said she received an odd text in which Gabby was referring to her grandfather by his first name. 2 days later, Miranda Baker shared on TikTok that she and her boyfriend gave Laundrie a ride.
He approached us asking us for a ride because he needed to go to Jackson, which we were going to Jackson that night.
Northport police later said that Baker's timeline was, quote, plausible. On September 1st, Laundrie returned to Florida in the couple's van by himself. 10 days later, Petito's family filed a missing persons report, stating that Petito had stopped communicating with her friends and family and that she was believed to be near Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. In the week after the report was filed, police named Laundrie as a person of interest in the case.
We're hopeful to talk to him. He needs to talk to us.
He later was reported missing by his family, and police began the search for Laundrie in the nearby Carlton Reserve, a 25,000-acre nature preserve. On September 19th, authorities recovered a body in Bridger Teton National Forest, consistent with the description of Gabby Petito. The following day, police and FBI raided the Laundrie family home while the search for Brian continued. The Teton County Coroner's Office later confirmed that the recovered body was Gabby Petito, and the death was ruled a homicide. The U.S. District Court of Wyoming has now issued an arrest warrant for Laundrie on debit card fraud charges following a federal grand jury indictment.
So I thought that was a pretty good video.
Comment. There was complacency. That's obvious. I think
I'm going to go back because they're telling a different story. Ruby, this is a good question that I haven't thought about. Do you think the lawyer, Stephen Bertolino, and the Laundrie's parents, Christopher and Roberta, will remain friends after all said and done after 25 years? That's a great point. Oh, don't know what that sound was. But yeah, that's a great point. I haven't not thought about that. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? Do you think they'll remain as friends? That's a good question. Brandy, how are you? You're muted. Brandy, you need to unmute if you're gonna want to be on. I'm gonna make that a poll question. Do you think the Laundries will remain friends with Stephen Bertolino? Don't know. I want to know the answer to that. It's a great question. Pooh's Blustery Day. I'm going to call you Pooh and think about Winnie the Pooh when I think of you. Thank you for becoming a part of the Feller fam. Museum Americana says, yeah, they'll remain friends. So we'll see. Let me go over here to the poll and try to create a poll. Will Stephen Bertolino and the Laundries remain friends? All right, I'm putting it as a poll question. You answer it and let me know what you think. Will they remain friends? Yes or no? They might not. They might. It really is something interesting that I hadn't thought about. I could see both sides of it. I could see them feeling like nothing happened, that Bertolino did the best they could. I could also see them feeling like there's some major issues along the way. So, don't know. Let me check the results of the poll. 70% of you so far, several hundred votes saying yes. About 30% of you are saying no. Okay. Valerie says, hey, Tyler, I'm late getting here, but did you guys talk about how Brian's Instagram was deleted? Yes, we did talk about that. Nobody knows who deleted it. What did Instagram delete it, or did the family request that it's deleted? So we don't know. Delana's thanking Nightbot. Thank you, Nightbot, for all you do. Not to make light, but this case has made me realize how many New Yorkers live in Florida. There's a lot of people that have a second house or a vacation house in Florida. Honestly, that's a pretty common thing. Leslie says, I think they'll remain friends because they're the only ones who share common knowledge of a horrible truth. They can talk about it with each other only. That's a great point, Leslie. There's something about when you have a shared experience with people, even if it's a bad experience, when you have a shared experience with somebody, there's something about it that really draws you together. And I think that could be one of those situations where it's like, this is another one of those things that's drawn them together, where they can have conversations with each other that literally nobody else is able to have. And so I didn't think about it that way, but just as we're talking, I'm like, yeah, okay, I could see that. By the way, Chantel, shout out to you for joining the Feller fam. Alicia, thank you for your super chat. Hey, Tyler, thank you for participating in charity at Popcorn Planet. I enjoy your channel too. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you for your comment. That was really cool how much money ended up being raised. Delana says, your mods are amazing. I know. Thank you to all the mods. You guys really are amazing. Man, it's unbelievable. The Lord sent them here too, honestly. I like to think there is good in all people. Sometimes we have to look harder to see it in some. Me too. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with, like, I just actually believe there's good in basically everybody. And then it's like, even if they're really bad, I'm like, no, but like they're redeemable. Leanne, how are you? For some reason, somebody needs to get a hold of Leanne. Can somebody privately get in touch with Leanne Heck and help her figure out what the heck is going on? but I do have a problem, like, with, for sure, with believing in people too much. Joshua says, I can't help but think how Tim Story said you'll be successful in your Don't Stop podcast. You know, Tim Story was the first person that I interviewed, and it was a great interview. I had a great time with him. We have a mutual friend, a guy named Paul Getter, who's a business guru and also a pastor. And Tim Story is a business guru and also a pastor. And I'm just a pastor. I'm not a business guru. But they say surround yourself with good people. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Surround myself by Tim Story, Paul Getter, some of the other guys I've been around. Steven says, Tyler, did you read the letter from the family friend about what happened? Yes. And I don't have any reason to believe that it was true. Burga Black, thank you for picking up the Don't Stop book. If I had proof that that letter was true, then we could talk about it more. But I'm just sort of in the position where it's like, I'm kind of like not really believing that it was a real letter. They didn't say anything to me that I felt like was new information. It was like, so for me, I thought it was fake news. And thumbs down to fake news, personally. Thumbs down to fake news, personally. There's another video that I wanted to share with you. It's just about the impact of Gabby Petito on the world. And I know their family's really impacted by just how she's making a difference, even though she's no longer living.
The news surrounding Gabby Petito's disappearance not only dominated headlines in the U.S., but around the world. So many people feeling a connection to a young woman they would never meet. People wanting to learn more about Gabby.
I don't know why that video is buffering like that. My internet's fine. It's just...
Gabby. Across the country, thousands honored her with blue ribbons. Just 22 years old when her life was cut short. Many of you have shared that Gabby reminds you of someone in your own life, young, full of joy, adventure, happiness, and hope for the future. And the outpouring of support from total strangers, something her family has said that they are forever grateful for.
I just hope that people are inspired by her. It's hard to put into words, but it means a lot to me that she's touched so many lives already.
Some good can come out of it, that we can help other people that may be in a similar situation.
We can't let her name be taken in vain. We need positive stuff. All right. So anything that we can do to bring that up and help people, that's what we want to do.
Gabby's parents have created the Gabby Petito Foundation, which raises money not only to help provide resources for other missing person cases, but also to help victims of domestic violence. For more information, visit GabbyPetitoFoundation.org. I'm going to go back now to Brian Enton, who is in Wyoming at Grand Teton National Park tonight. Brian, it is heartbreaking to see you go back to that spot where the white van was parked on the side of a dirt road and to trek through that creek and walk back to the place where Gabby's remains were discovered. I know for you, having been covering this story since the very beginning, it must be surreal and overwhelming. What struck you about that area? And just walk us back through what it was like being there.
Yeah, I think the word that you said really is the right word, sort of surreal. I messaged with Gabby's mom that we were out there, and I just kept thinking about her and Gabby's family and the fact that they were out there in the same spot. And I guess that was really at the forefront of my mind the entire time, thinking what it must have been like for them to be out there. And the sort of interesting thing is, you know, you're there thinking about how awful it is that her body was there and what must have happened to her. But it's just such an incredibly beautiful setting at the same time. And there is this strange sense of peace there because there are these creeks that move through the area and it's surrounded by mountains. And as I said in the piece in the beginning, I mean, you can just hope that, you know, the peaceful surroundings bring some comfort to Gabby's family, at least in some way.
a place that we know she loved so much based on what her family has shared and all of those videos that were so public for the world to see. Brian Enton, thank you. When we come back answering your
So there you had it from that perspective. The family, wants there to be a positive sort of memory of what happened. Kayla NC, shout out to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you you sent a super sticker of a mic drop. Thank you for sending that. Debbie, shout out to you for purchasing the Don't Stop book. Museum Americana, the trauma associated with the majority of missing cases is astronomical. We pray for the lost. I know. Well, there's lots of trauma too. It's like there's trauma that led to their disappearance. There's trauma that's involved in the family that sort of remains behind. There's trauma involved for people that are involved in the search. The days, to me, as we progress forward, seem darker and darker when you think about all of that. That's why I can't help but have a positive perspective on things, because there's so much darkness around. Somebody has to think about things from a good perspective. That's what I try to do most of the time. Not always. I'm not always good at it, but I try have a positive perspective. Sin70 says, I don't understand coming on Tyler's channel just to attack him. He's a minister doing what he's been called to do, but he's human first. Be kind. What's wrong with people? Thank you for having my back like that. Yeah, what is wrong? What is wrong with people? I need some people understand. I am a human too. I think when you see people on the internet through a screen, it just sort of like desensitizes yourself to like, that's an actual person. That's a real life human being. I got skin. This is a face. Real person. And I know you put yourself out there when you're on the internet and people can say whatever they want, but you should be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. Quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. Okay. Brandy, why would they open the park back up without waiting for the water to recede, especially when the laundries told them the locations he frequented? Why not wait till after the water was down? That, my friend, is a question I want to know the answer to. Not just about that, but all of the events surrounding that. What was all of the water levels on any given day, including the week before when Christopher Laundrie had went out there? So, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Did not mean to do what I just did. Phoenix, how are you? You're muted. You got to unmute your mic. David says, Jonathan Rich, whatever, is born again. Please don't slander anybody. I'm not slandering him. I never said anything remotely close to slandering him. So you need to not slander me by saying I slandered somebody else. How about that? I said we need to be careful about listening to him because he has a track record, and I don't know him by the fruits of his Christianity. We know him by the fruits of his supposed pre-Christianity. And he's not out there saying, let's pray for people. He's out there protesting in their yards and revealing to the kids of Cassie Laundrie that their uncle was dead. That's how they found out about it. They weren't saying, let us pray for you. Let us pray for you. They were screaming and causing trauma for the family. So I'm not slandering anybody. I'm telling you facts. And trust but verify. I'm in the position now where he has to verify himself. Patricia, how are you?
Well, I am doing just great. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you for calling in. I'm glad that you're still healed 2 days later.
Yes, I am. And I felt even better today. I just wanted to make mention.
Yay.
And I happened to catch that you said something about you've got to go in and have an MRI for the brain. Am
Yeah.
I right? Did I catch you right on that?
Yeah.
Well, let me just give you a quick little testimony, and I'll be quick about it. But back in the 1994 was going to be my first trip to Israel with my church group and leadership. And 3 months before we were leaving, I had an aneurysm burst in the brain. I suffered an immediate stroke. I somehow got taken over to my church. The pastor, everyone prayed for me, laid hands on me. I was all contorted and everything. And it immediately broke. And I still followed up and did the MRI. They said that because of the aneurysm, I did lose quite a bit of blood, but everything knitted back perfectly. A
Wow.
few years after that, they discovered, because my eyesight was going very, very weird, that I had glaucoma. And so they prescribed drops. I followed the rules, did the drops, got to a point where I could no longer afford health insurance. My job had cut back my hours, and that automatically cut it off for my coverage. And I ran out of eye drops, and I just really just believed in the Lord. And I just said, I don't believe that it's your will for me to be blind. And I just received healing right there. I mean, I just trusted him for it. And I went back to the eye doctor 2 years later, had no more of the prescription eye drops, hadn't been taking them for 2 years. Long story short on that, Tyler, my eyes were healed of glaucoma, which is impossible, but the doctors said that's what's happened. Then they discovered that I had a brain tumor, and I had to have another MRI. And then they said, well, you have to do this, you have to do that. And I didn't have health insurance again. And I just, once the doctor told me in the emergency room about the brain tumors, I had 2 cousins who had died from brain tumors about 4 years prior to that. And I just immediately felt peace. And I said, well, thank you. I believe the Lord's going to heal me. And I meant it. I really meant it. And so I went back for more testing. And gosh, it was about 6, 7 months after that follow up. And the tumor had shrunk in the brain. It was between the 2 spheres in the brain. And so the Lord healed. And I know I've talked to you about other things that, you know, the Lord has healed, and you praying for me the other night. So I don't want you to have any concern about the MRI for the brain. It's almost like, you know, a science fiction kind of a thing. You're going through all these weird machine noises that this thing does, but it really helps them pin down things, and it can also be a part of your testimony of being healed.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing. I
You're
want the
welcome.
Lord to heal me, and I'm believing it as well. So
I am, absolutely, and I see so many people here are praying for you and believing as well. So you just hang in there. I don't really have much to say about the case tonight. I am thoroughly enjoying, you know, the videos that you're showing and the input that Kim and the others, Avery and the others are calling in and sharing. So I'm just going to be an audience tonight, if that's okay.
yeah, well, great. We would love having you. You're a valued part of our audience. How's that sound?
Well, you know, I just really appreciate that, and I value all of you too. And Tyler, thank you so much for being here to help us join together as this community that cares.
Well, thank you for calling in.
All right, everybody have a great night. Bye-bye.
Renee, thank you for your super chat. You say, I think all of it has left the laundries financially broke. Their online businesses say temporarily closed. It's sad that it all could have been avoided. Yeah, I don't know their financial situation, but it's possible for sure. Southern Gal Jen, are you there?
Hey, hope you can hear me.
Hey, you know what? When I saw the picture of you wearing the hoodie, it's the first time I ever saw anyone wearing that merch. It was awesome.
It's a great hoodie, guys. If you went to the link to buy the book, check out the merch as well. The tie-dye tee is on my list to buy next.
I have the black tie-dye tee.
Oh, okay. I bet it's nice too.
Yeah, it's nice. It's not like super soft, to be honest. If I was honest, it's not like super soft. Some of the other shirts on there are really soft, but the hoodie that I got was like, I actually have 2 hoodies. They're super soft. And I ordered a Feller Fam hoodie. It's not in yet.
Good to know. And get extra books, guys, because I don't think you're going to be able to get them for a while. So don't wait till Christmas.
Yeah, don't wait till Christmas.
I got extras. But one thing I wanted to say, I was putting it in the chat when I first came on, was, them talking about Gabby being an influencer. And I think it's really hard nowadays. I just turned 44. I have kids her age, and it's so hard in this day and age, honestly, to think about your kids being an influencer and
Yeah.
want to follow that. And
Yeah.
the critique that she may have also endured at that time.
Right.
The comments, there's comments probably that she had that we will never see that she deleted.
Yes.
And that makes me sad that, we may never know what those bad comments were. And that's a good thing. You should always delete the negative ones, in my opinion. And to all you guys who hated on Avery's call, if you don't like it, hey, there's plenty of other channels you can go see. That's all I got to say about that. And Tyler and Kim and Jen and Jennifer, there's so many great mods in here. This family has been brought together for a reason. I think the main reason is to bring such awareness. Yes, they can hear you. I have a wild cat at night. I'm sorry. She's 17. She's the oldest animal, so she gets the attention. But the DV awareness is so important. I wasn't able to see you on today due to other work issues, but Thursdays was amazing. I don't even know what did they make it to today? What was the?
I haven't got on there to see how much they ended up raising today.
I know yesterday it was around $40,000, and I know next month the plan is to do one for the Gabby Petito Foundation. So that's great, and I hope you're a part of that too.
I'll text Andy real fast and ask him what the total is.
Thank you. And just praying for you as well, for your health issues and everyone's. And you guys, if you're not a producer, a member, I have really found comfort in the Facebook group that we have made with Feller Fam.
It's a good community, isn't it? On the just the Feller Fam in general, but the Facebook group is really good.
It really is. And I'm like, where is Miss Diane tonight? As I was reading her story in the Facebook group today, where is she?
I know, where
hope
is
she's okay.
Diane at?
I
hope
always miss her.
I think she got the vaccine booster and it's been making her sick. So we're just gonna pray that she's getting some rest and is gonna be back with us soon.
Good.
She did email me earlier today, so.
Okay. And Miss Patty's okay too?
She's not on here tonight either, but she was last night, so.
Those two have become like, I don't have any grandmothers left in my life, unfortunately.
Me neither.
I'm the baby 6, so I've lost my grandparents, and I just relate to them so much as that figure, and they bring such warmth and such knowledge and even just humor when we need a laugh. We can't always focus on the bad and be under our covers. We have to have laughter too.
Yes.
But thank you so much, you guys. And I just wanted to bring that up. Being an influencer these days.
I don't think any parent would wish that on their child, really.
Well, I have one that's trying to do it, to be honest, and I don't like it one bit. I didn't grow up. I just turned 44 Wednesday. Yay.
See, you posted that. I didn't know if you meant like it's my birthday today, because I want to be like, happy birthday. And then I was like, well, I don't know if it's her birthday today or if she's just saying that, because you said today I'm 44. And so happy late birthday. I typed happy birthday and then I deleted it because I was like, well, she might just be meaning like today is the day and I'm just telling everybody my true age. Like I didn't know what you what you were insinuating.
Oh no,
So,
I am always honest about my age. My dad has a saying, and one of my friends actually changed it. My dad is I'm a daddy's girl. He's 86 years old, and he always says, "Well, I'm just glad I woke up on the right side of the dirt." And I know that sounds morbid to some people, and so I changed it to every day I'm just glad I woke up on the right side of the bed. And I have made it a new ritual of mine. Sunday mornings, my alarm goes off to log on to church to watch your sermon. And every day, I thank God for every day that I get up. No matter what that day brings, it's another day, it's another journey.
yeah. I always say, thank you, Lord, for today. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. And I know today is going to be a good day because you made today and you only made good things. It's a little mantra I have. Like if the Lord made today, he only makes good things. I'm going to find the good in it because that's who he is. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you everyone for sharing in the chat. And I had to come on here and say a few words and be a pit bull for Avery.
Yeah, she's sharing with me some more of their conversation right now. So
great. All right. Well, have a good night. I hope everybody rests well and have a great weekend too, and whatever you do.
Thank you. M1 says, needed to hear that. Juke says, it's not about religion. It's about a relationship with your creator. He knows you best. It's not about religion. In fact, a friend of mine wrote a book called Jesus Hates Religion because it is not about religion. Religion is about rules. I hate rules. It's about a relationship. That's what happened when Jesus died on the cross. Chris, how are you?
Hey, Tyler. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. So what are your thoughts tonight?
Well, first off, I want to thank you for talking to me last night off the air. That meant a lot to me, actually. It really was. I thought about it a lot after we got off the phone together.
Well, that's great.
I appreciate that. And also, you're a good dude. You really are. Like, people who attack you or say negative things about you, like, I've come on here and, I'm probably not with 90% of the people who are on this channel as far as some of my thoughts, but you've been nothing but acceptable of my thoughts and even unblocked me too. So
that is true.
And talk to me after hours. And I wish you the best on whatever you're going through medically. I know the scariest part, I know personally, because I think we talked how I'm on medical leave and, probably why I've gotten so into this case, because I don't have work much to do. So I've been kind of following this thing. But the scariest thing is just not knowing. I think that is the scariest part, when you don't know what's wrong.
Yeah.
And
well, I filled out a thing the other day they made me fill out, and it was like I had 100 symptoms, and some of it's like really stuff, like really bad stuff. And I'm like, I didn't realize all this is connected. Like the heart was just one of 100 things that I have going on right now. So it's like I really want to get to the bottom of all of this.
Yeah, and it just because, like, I have high white blood cells, and that could mean 50 things, and it's like, oh, well, what does that mean? So it sucks not knowing, because it could be the worst of the worst, like, well, I'm not going to go over what the things it could be, because I'm not a doctor, but it's just not knowing, or it could be something simple that's easily, resolved.
Exactly.
Like so.
What are your thoughts about the developments today and last night with a change of story at the Mary Piglet? Some of the information about the Moab police paying or getting paid, and then also what Avery was saying about the conversation with Cassie.
Well, first off, Avery's conversation was great. I think I've always been that the Laundries aren't monsters, you know, and I think a lot of people, because Brian is dead, they want to go after the next, you know, metaphorically, they want blood.
Mhm.
So since Brian is dead and you can't get justice against, you know, Brian, well, because I see so many people make comments about, I hope they go to jail. I'm hoping they'll get arrested. And it's like, these are a family that lost their child. They lost their, you know, brother. And to hope they get arrested for something, anything, is, you know, against a family that just lost their child. They didn't ask to be thrown into this picture, into this national scene. They don't want to be. That's why they've been so seclusive, is that they didn't want to be thrown into this national picture where everybody's talking about them. And they just lost a child, and everybody's so desperately wanting, you know, justice for Gabby. So since Brian is dead, let's go after the parents. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And also, oh, go on.
I just want to shout out Museum Americana says, the world's changed us. One of us was kidnapped at age 10. We lost our mind in the process, but God is good. I want to hear, can you email me, Museum Americana? Like, I want to hear more about that. And then I think we got to both clap for Avery with the super chat. Thank you, Avery.
And her call, too. I'm on my phone, but I'll clap, too. So,
you know, I know you're somebody, Chris, who's been trying to make a point like, hey, we need to stick up for Cassie, Laundrie, and Avery is too. So.
Absolutely. And Avery's conversation, I saw a lot of hate, though, towards Avery. And it's like, this is just a normal family who got thrusted into the national spotlight and that never asked for it. You know, and that's the other thing. Oh, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
Well, I just say, like, you know, nobody knows how to handle that. And it's a very difficult thing to be plucked from obscurity and then all of a sudden on every news station. And there's, you know, maybe 50 people a year that happens to.
Yeah.
So it's a very small club of people that can relate to what they're going through. And then on top of that, there's a ton of stress from being plucked from obscurity to then being famous in a way. But being famous for a negative thing where everybody hates you, that's a whole nother world.
And then lose your child at the same time. You know, it's all, you know, I do have sympathy for the Laundrie family because, you know, and then everybody's a Monday morning quarterback. Everybody will say, well, if it was me, I would have done this, or if it was me, I would have said this, or, you know, come out to the media, or if it was me, I would have made sure Brian didn't leave the house. And I'm sure they're going through those same things too. Like, I should have done this, I should have done that differently. But when it comes on you and it's thrusted on you, all of a sudden you're hoping you make your best decisions, but everybody can pick apart those decisions, what you make, because you're not them. You're not in that situation. It's not your kid. It's not you in the national spotlight. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's easier to critique people when it's not you.
For sure.
And I'm sure they've made mistakes, and I'm sure that they have a lot of regrets. And I'm sure they're also reclusive people, and that's why they've stayed reclusive. And that's why people are like, well, they should speak out. They should speak out. Well, not everybody is in here for the national spotlight. Not everybody's a YouTube influencer, you know, who wants attention. You know, some people want to just live their quiet life.
for sure.
There was
Well,
one other thing I was
okay.
going to say, but go on.
No, it's
I
okay.
didn't mean to interrupt you.
What's your
go
other
on.
thought?
The other thought I had, and I know you probably won't be able to answer this, and maybe a lot of the people can't, but back when I was a younger man, and it kind of sucks saying I'm back when I'm a younger man. Now I really feel old saying that. But back when I was a younger man, I used to do a lot of MMA fighting, and had different senseis that trained with me, and I had one that was a Taekwondo expert, and he told me never hit somebody in the throat, never punch or elbow somebody in the throat, because it will crush the windpipe, and unless you do a tracheotomy on them, they will suffocate to death in front of you, because it crushes like a straw, and the bones will break and it will crush in like that, where you can't get air unless you do a this word always confuses me, tracheotomy on them. And do you think that is a possibility, what happened, that maybe Brian punched or hit her somehow on accident, or somehow got hit in the windpipe by an object and it crushed her windpipe and caused her and broke the bones around her to suffocate to death?
I don't think so, because a trachea collapse is different than I think what would happen in a different type of a situation, like a manual strangulation. I think they're kind of different situations.
That the coroner could tell the difference between a windpipe being crushed? Possibly. I don't know. It's just something I wanted to throw out there here. And can I say one last thing?
Sure.
All right. Regardless of what you feel about it, 2 families lost their children. And there's a time I would rather see people show love than hate, and that's all I ask, is that people, Jesus always taught love and not hate towards people, and that's just my feeling, is that showing hate to the Laundries doesn't make Gabby any more alive, or make Brian any more alive, and that's all I ask.
Thank you, Chris, for your thoughts. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you for having me.
John Mikowski says, we have to get an Avery emoji. No question about it. Thank you, John, for the super chat. I think a lot of people are thinking that. Keith coming in clutch, saying, thank you for the donation. Wash hands, wash hands. Feller fam hands, feller fam hands. A lot of people are thinking that. Ava, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh my gosh, this is a miracle. Wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
Well, I just thought, so is my audio coming across clearly, just so I can verify
Keith
that?
coming in clutch. Yes, but there's now a little bit of an echo. Wash hands, wash hands. Feller fam hands, feller.
Okay, so I'm assuming you can hear me, and I'll just ask.
Ava.
Yeah, am I coming through or no?
Ava, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I am here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Oh my gosh, this is a miracle. Wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
Well, I just thought, so is my audio coming across clearly, just so I can verify that?
Coming in clutch. Yes, but there's now a little bit of an echo. Oh my goodness. This is kind of funny.
Do you have a hypothesis about what's causing the echo, or should I just...
You got to mute YouTube and use audio through StreamYard. So somebody may have to get
I'll
with
try
Ava.
one more time. And
Somebody may have to get with Ava and teach her how to do that. But that was kind of funny. It was like we listened to it twice back to back like that. I agree, Halo effect. People need time to work through their emotions. Forgiveness doesn't come right away. And this case is personal to many. And I did have a conversation with Chris last night and told him that. I'm like, it's like everybody's expecting justice. We've been fighting for justice. We've been working towards justice. And at this point, like, we're just in a situation where that forgiveness is going to take a bit of time. It's going to take time for people to really sort through what was crazy theories that we've allowed ourselves to jump on. It's going to take a bit of time for us to sort through things that we think are facts. And so when we think about it, Halo Effect, you made a really good, really solid point. I don't know what happened to Ava. She's now off of here. She was on here, but she disappeared. Tina says, I'm laughing really hard. Okay. Well, let me pray for you. That'll be the end of our call tonight. Father, thank you for everybody watching. I pray you surround them with your favor like a shield. Bless them with your grace, your strength, your power. Give them what your word declares, hope for a future to prosper them and not to harm them. Anything, Father, that is an issue in their life that they feel heavy burden about, we hand it over to you. And in Jesus' name, we ask you to take it. Provide healing, provide clarity, direction. Amen, amen, amen. Shout out to everybody who joined the Feller fam tonight. Mickey, Museum, Paige, Kim, Carol, Renee in North Carolina, Debbie, DK, Nora, Pooh, Bear, Chantel, Sin70. Thank you guys for joining the Feller fam today. And shout out to everybody who purchased a Don't Stop book. I haven't shouted out Shannon or Nora. Thank you guys for picking up the Don't Stop book. And if you guys purchased Feller fam merch or Don't Stop merch, let me know about it. If you just joined the Feller fam too, don't forget to find our Facebook group if you have Facebook. Okay, we post a lot on the community tab, but we also post a lot in our Facebook group. And so we'd love to have you on the Facebook group. By the way, we're not going to be a stream tomorrow or Sunday. So this was our last stream for the week. Have a good evening.